6:02, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans fall 37-24 on Sunday to the 49ers, but they showed some fight as they dropped to 2-12 on the season. Cam Ward threw for 170 yards and 2 touchdown passes, one to rookie Gunnar Helm and the other to defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons had another sack Sunday, which brings his 2025 total to 9 sacks on the season, which is also a career high for him. And Tony Pollard rushed for 104 yards yesterday, which was his first time as a Titan to rush for over 100 yards in consecutive games. In other NFL news, the Chiefs lost to the Chargers 16-13, and they will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. But they lost more than just the game yesterday. To make matters worse, quarterback Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and will miss the remainder of the 2025 season. Packers star pass rusher Micah Parsons, who left the game early yesterday against the Broncos, is also believed to have his torn ACL. And with their wins on Sunday, both the Rams and Broncos have now clinched a playoff berth. And in college football on Saturday, Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza took home the Heisman Trophy. Mendoza received almost 1,000 more votes than second-place quarterback for Vanderbilt Diego Pavia. Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame finished third, and Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin finished fifth. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning, and welcome into a Monday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Another new week begins, and we got another loss to talk about. Titans fall yesterday to the San Francisco 49ers, 37-24. Some good, some bad, some just things to discuss out of it. We'll get to that this morning right off the top. We'll get to the most worrying part of the Titans roster, of the Titans' loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Jeffrey Simmons caught a touchdown pass. That's something that happened yesterday. We've got NFL headlines. Ramon, everyone is hurt this morning in the NFL. Can you confirm as we begin this week that you are at least probable or that you are healthy going into today's week and today's show? Good morning.
Good morning. I am most definitely healthy this morning. Okay, this week, if I have some availability left, I've started my 5-year clock already. I'm already past that threshold, but I can unretire and just try out again. That is something like I would actually consider right now. I don't know why I wasn't ready in year 1, 2, and 3 of my retirement, but year 5, I feel like Phillip Rivers has definitely inspired me, Will, to want to be a part of the comeback of a lot of veteran players because, as you said, I can't play safety, but I can at least fill in at one of the guard positions and probably be extra tight end on the O-line if you need me to.
Yeah, so for all of the people that have stopped you at the Krogers, as you call it, and asked if you can play offensive line for the Titans, your answer might have changed a little bit yesterday, maybe?
Just a little bit, man. I'll be honest with you. I feel like I can at least put together a quarter. It's colder outside right now. Teams want to run the football more as Tony Pollard goes over 100 yards again. And what are we talking about? I mean, it's 3 weeks, right? At this point, I'm good to go. I'll take vet minimum at this point, Will. Easily vet minimum.
I think the other part of that is that Phillip Rivers has enjoyed retirement enough to where he looked a little bit like an offensive lineman playing football yesterday, and I mean that respectfully because he looked good enough to give them a chance in that football game.
He did, man. But I also look at that and I was worried. I was worried about him. I was watching the Titans game mostly yesterday. And I flipped back and forth over, and I'm like, oh, this is competitive. This is the new quarterback push. I thought all those things for Phillip Rivers, but he looked good. At the end of the game, you saw Father Time snatch him by the shoulders and say, get over here, as he attempted to throw down the field. Yeah. And there was not much left in the gunpowder in the old shoulders, man. Not.
Well, we will talk a lot more about that and about 44-year-old Phillip Rivers being in the mix yesterday in an 18-16 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. But, of course, we begin with what happened in Santa Clara. 49ers 37, Titans 24. It was close. It was not close enough. A second-half surge by a young core of Titans just couldn't overcome what was a first-half deficit. Ramon, started really by the defense's inability to get off the field on third down.
It was. That is something that we spoke about a good bit last week. I wasn't worried about it because they're NFL players with NFL schemes and et cetera. But you do look at the San Francisco 49ers ability to extend plays, which is what they did. You look at their, undressing of trying to see what you were in as far as the defense and how they can take advantage of certain players and matchups and stuff like that. But the other part that you didn't account for yesterday was the amount of injuries at positions that caused those plays to not be able to get off. I mean, those series in which the defense couldn't get off on third down. Will 3 safeties go down in one day? I don't know about
one on the first snap of the game.
Yeah,
on not even snap, on the first kick of the game. Right.
I did not see that, not even a little bit, man. That was fascinating to me in a sense of just like you're just snake bitten at this point. Get to the end of the season and see where your cards lay then, man, because when you got 3 players at one position go down, you got to start playing players out of position. You got to start asking guys, hey, do you remember in this game plan, or do you remember back in camp when you subbed in here? It was problematic for them, but still the team fought, man. The DNA of this squad, I feel like through Vrabel, through Brian Callahan, and right now through Mike McCoy has just been that. I don't know if you can even give credit to the coaches at this point, because I feel like the DNA inside the locker room is those guys have just fought. They've had 3 different changes right now. I ain't going to say 3 different changes. The firing of a head coach within the season, and they are still finding ways to play meaningful football. I got to give it to them.
Yeah, I think the offense made enough progress yesterday to be frisky, right? We use that word a lot in talking about where this team is relative to good teams like the San Francisco 49ers. But when you talk about the defense and you look at the amount of injuries that they had, I mean, Kaiir Elam had not played defensive football for the Titans yet and gets in that game yesterday next to Kendall Brooks. And no disrespect to those 2 guys, but those guys are brought in as depth pieces. Those guys are brought in as special teamers. And for a guy in Kaiir Elam, who was signed on November the 26th, that is a very tough challenge. That's a really big thing to throw him right in the middle of. So the 49ers scored on all but one of their possessions in this game, and that was the sack fumble by Jeffrey Simmons at the start of the fourth quarter. The first time that the 49ers had the football and did not convert a third down, Ramon, 1 minute left in the first half. 7-7 on their first third down attempts, and it was an incomplete pass to Jawan Jennings, who could have caught it as well. It would have been about inside the 10 to 15-yard line at the end of the first half, and that set up the Eddie Pinheiro field goal that extended the lead there for San Francisco. But I think that's the thing. Like, the offense had a little bit of success in this game. I mean, 3 drives of 8+ plays in the first half. They put themselves in position for 13 points, and then Joey Sly misses a field goal. Happens when you get that far, but still frustrating for the way that first half ended and the way that you moved the ball and kind of put yourself in striking distance a little bit. But for you, Ramon, how hard is it to really evaluate this game defensively? Because there aren't a lot of teams that can withstand losing 3 players at the same position in an NFL football game, especially this team, and especially against a San Francisco 49ers offense that actually is healthy for the first time seemingly all season.
And then, of course, I heard also, Cedric Gray goes down too.
Yes, concussion for him late in the game.
Concussion for him. How hard is it to evaluate the defense? I say this, not hard at all, because I think the pieces that you need to see be there will play a part in this team moving forward, specifically Savondre and Jeff being a part of it. Winston Jr. playing a part of this team, too. You mentioned, like, guys that, like Cedric Gray and Cody Barton, that will be here. I evaluated the Titans' performance yesterday on the offense and defensive side and just simply said this: more guys. Now, the issue that you have, I feel like more than anything, is how do you get to that point to how do you select those guys? What are you looking for moving forward as far as the draft picks go? At what position? Like, do you go after an edge in the first round? That's a question for you, too, to get more pressure, to help up front so that the secondary can grow up. I personally think this is you won't see a lot of production out of the defensive front if you do go edge, if you do go deep tackle, whatever the case may be, but it helps the back end of that defense grow up more. I feel like there's more to be done in the secondary than it is up front for this squad. And it showed yesterday, especially when it comes down to depth, too. Like, they can almost supplement some of the stuff you can do up front with, honestly, guys that are capable. Jalen Harrell yesterday, he's been week after week right now finding his way. So imagine if you go get a top-tier rusher off the edge. What's Ohio State's edge rusher?
Which one? Arvell Reese? You kind of him as an edge rusher?
You know, like Arvell Reese. If you'll find a guy like him or Auburn's edge rusher, too, as we get closer to draft season. Keldrick Falk. Like, those are the things that you are looking for. And then yesterday, too, real quick offense, I have to say this before we go on the break also. The Shanahan style of offense, I think, would be amazing for Cam. The way it plays close to the line of scrimmage, Cam likes to roam around. It forces him to get the ball out of his hand. I saw Brock Purdy yesterday have a lot of touch and just throwing it to the flats.
Sure. Well, let's talk more about that coming up next. I think that's an interesting point, and I think that there are a lot of things to break down from Cam Ward yesterday, and some good and unfortunately some of the same bad. Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. More reaction on the phones as well, 615-737-1045, as we give you our takes from Titans and 49ers next.
Genesis Diamonds really shines this time of the year, man. Their cases are jam-packed with all the best gifts, highest quality at the guaranteed best value prices, and engagement rings. They have diamond bracelets, eternity bands, earrings, pendants, color stone jewelry, Rolex watches, and listen, this December, yes, this month, you can get the holiday jewelry she wants for $0 down and no interest for 5 years. So you can go big without going broke. Pick any item, spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. That $6,000 ring is just now $100 a month. You can do the math. Everything is affordable. Genesis non-commissioned experts are ready to help you find the headliner gift from a few $100s to a few $100,000 if you choose. Elegant pendants, dazzling eternity bands, stylish wedding bands, and an incredible selection of diamond classic jewelry with $0 down, 0 interest for 5 years. And yes, hundreds of pristine pre-owned Rolex watches. All the most popular models are included. And if you love a deal, here's something all new for 2025. It's the Genesis Diamonds half-price holiday vault. A select group of showcases featuring expertly curated Christmas gifts that Genesis is offering at half price. That's 50% savings, the biggest discount ever. You need to check this out during this holiday season. Genesis Diamonds, the place for that spectacular holiday gift. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
37-24, 49ers over the Titans. And our only guest on Monday mornings is you. 615-737-1045 here on Ramon and Will. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer. Ramon, we haven't done this in a while. You got a headline for me from yesterday's loss to San Francisco in Santa Clara?
Yeah. Just what Cam needed.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
The run game, offensive line support, the support in general I thought was good. I'll go the support from the front line was good. Those wide receivers, man, got to catch those balls coming their way sometimes, especially when he's extending plays, whatnot. But that's what I took away from yesterday. No sacks, giving up on it. Now, I know he had pressure, and he caused some of that pressure himself too. But if I put it in our chat earlier, in our YouTube chat, if this was the version of Tony Pollard that Cam Ward had gotten, I think you see a more progressive team. If this is the version of their offensive line that Cam Ward had gotten early on, I think you get a more progressive team. The support that the offense need to lend it to the defense just hasn't been there, and it's because those two components right there just haven't been working. The run game, whether it be the running back's vision, effort, etc., or the offensive line holding up and just, playing good, solid football. The drops that came, I felt like, from wide receivers or the overthrows, that's a touch, that's a chemistry thing, that's a feel for where you need to be at on the field type of situations. But those two components right there, I felt like kept you in the football game to where you felt like, oh, this can get dicey. You didn't look, in my personal opinion, the last 2 weeks like the worst team in the NFL.
But first of all, Ramon, why do you think the run game is working so much better now? What's the biggest reason why this run game has woken up the last two games?
I'll be real with you, Will. It seems like the mindset has changed. Like, I don't know them. I'm not going to, question those guys when it comes down to their ability to play football. But it seems like the sense of urgency and need and them being jerks has kind of stepped up a little bit. I'm saying guys push a little extra at the end of the game. Yesterday, you see Cushenberry shoving somebody back. There's a lot of those things, man, I feel like was lost or they were guessing this portion of the year. Zeitler can play. I know Corey Leven went in for him also, but like Cush has been known to play. You're seeing a better version right now of J.C. Latham, I feel like, than you have all year long. These guys have started to play football. And there was a portion in my younger career where we received challenges from the head coach and the our position coach, and that didn't resonate. And then our teammates start calling us out. Like, I don't know if they've gotten to that point, if they've had a coming to Jesus moment to allow themselves to play harder, but it looks that way. Like, the game plan, I feel like it's been the exact same thing. When they get a little bit of positivity, it opens up. And I would also add to it, too, Cam's extension of the football may lend some of it, but that's before all of that. They're simply handing the football off and gaining yards. It's not just being tackled in the backfield anymore. The first half of the season, you saw so many bodies in the backfield of dudes getting pushed back. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, it does seem like they have cut out that bottom 10% of plays that we talk about a lot, right? Like the disaster plays aren't happening as much, at least in the run game. To your point, too, I mean, when I had my weekly meeting with GM Mike Borgonzi for Titans Radio, that's something he told me in our interview yesterday that played in the pregame show. Like, the mentality has shifted in a way on offense and defense. Because I asked him about the run defense, and he kind of gave me the same answer. Of like, you know what? That's also a mentality. And it feels like, we are starting to embrace that kind of mentality of the way you've got to play football this time of year. What was kind of what he was getting at with that. And Ramon, I don't know who said it. I don't know what happened or what sparked it, but I think if you are looking for a positive out of yesterday's performance, you start with the offense, and you start with the fact that was kind of our biggest question coming in, wasn't it? Like, can this offense do it again? Can you run the football effectively against another pretty good defense? I mean, a different profile of defense, and San Francisco with as many guys as they have out, with Bosa and Warner both unavailable, and with some of the changes they've had to make because of that. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think 7.4 yards per carry, another touchdown, the 2 straight 100-yard games for Tony Pollard. You just came up short in part because you're just so thin on defense, and you can't withstand three safeties going down.
No, you cannot. I know they've minimized that position. It's a few linebackers it's a few positions, running back, linebacker, and safety are the positions that they somewhat minimize, and especially in the NFL. So when you look at the way they were able to take shots and extend plays, and I got to give it to them, the San Francisco's 49ers offense, it's fun to watch. Everybody's doing their job. It's physical still with everything that they do side to side. They will still go north and south and punch you in the mouth. And if you got guys that are in the wrong positions or can't defend Jawan Jennings as he runs an in and out route on you. Like, it's those types of things right there to where there's always an explosive play that's waiting for you. Those issues can be problematic. The guys that you need to show up did. Jeff showed up. I mentioned, of course, Jalen Harrell having the ability to show up.
He's got 3 sacks in 5 games.
That's what I'm saying. Good for him, man. And, of course, you look at Cedric Gray, like, guys are doing what you want them to do. But, again, it's the back end. Like, we've talked lightly about what this team needs as far as the draft goes. You could see corner being in that conversation. I'm not sure if this team is in a position to go take Caleb Downs. I did see somebody this weekend who's one of those draft guys that say Caleb Downs, barring position, is the best player in the draft.
Our friend Mike Wilson voted him first for the Heisman.
I saw that. Oh, Heisman votes this weekend.
We'll get there. We'll get to it. Yep.
But it's hard to make a case that you go safety in the top 3, top 5, whatever the Titans end this season up. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, and you do have 2 safeties.
You do.
Right now. I mean, Amani Hooker just got a long-term deal before the season started. And then Kevin Winston Jr., one of your 3 safeties that got hurt yesterday, has shown you flashes of being a really good football player.
But you know, yes, 100%. Now, that's also where does this group rest their head at too. I know Amani just got here, but there's a lot of that draft conversation that goes. But
for sure,
you're gonna need secondary help for sure, because the breakdowns that were happening as far as, Brock Purdy having the ability to scramble and work downfield it became problematic for guys that were shorthanded when it came down to the amount of bodies that they lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a pretty simple evaluation yesterday on the surface level. You got beat by a better team that didn't make the mistakes that you would need to have a chance.
And they wore down on them early, too, Will.
They did. I mean, you look at what Brock Purdy was able to do in this game and the way that he extended plays, the way that he ran the football as well. I mean, 7 carries for 44 for Purdy, 22 for 73 and a touchdown for Christian McCaffrey. I mean, if you had told me that the Titans were going to hold Christian McCaffrey to 22 for 73, I'd tell you, all right, they probably have a chance.
Right.
They're probably in it.
Right.
Late in the game, and that's kind of what happened, right? I mean, they're down 10 with about 5.5 minutes left. You have a razor-thin margin of like, all right, 3 and out, score 3 and out, who knows? But obviously it didn't work out that way. The Titans weren't able to get off the field, in part, again, because you have another injury. And then here's Cedric Gray, who's in concussion protocol and can't go at the end of the game. You brought up a point off the top before the break I want to get back to. Talking about the Kyle Shanahan system.
Yeah.
Why would the Kyle Shanahan system be a good fit for Cam Ward?
Because I think it covers a lot when it comes down to your lack of talent. Like, you look at who San Francisco have as far as skill set goes, right? Christian McCaffrey is an all-world guy.
100%.
All-world guy, but he didn't have an all-world game yesterday, correct?
Correct.
And then you go from there. Like, I like Kittle, and I think he is, one of those strong conversation, all-pro, Pro Bowl types of guys, but he's a tight end. I look at Jawan Jennings. I look at Kendrick Bourne. I look at Ricky Pearsall, right? I say
Marcus Robinson had a big catch yesterday, too.
36 yards total on the day. I look at that and I say this, though, Will. As far as this talent goes for the Tennessee Titans team, and as much as you have to go to grow it up, that offense hides a lot of deficiencies and elevates guys' skill set that are willing and capable of running. I'm not saying you go find you a fullback like Kyle Juszczyk, but having a skill set to where Chig may be able to be signed back and play that role for this team. You look at the young players that have to grow up, or you got to go get a younger wide receiver. The motions and, the misconceptions of them going down the field and being able to go side to side, the rollouts that Brock Purdy has, I think fits what Cam's skill set is too. You can play close to the line of scrimmage, and there's also big shots down the field too that's available to you. Brock Purdy yesterday, I didn't think the pedigree of Brock Purdy is that elite, but to me, that offense makes him look that way. If you're telling me that Cam Ward has the elite pedigree and's got a rifle of an arm, like the way he's able to roll out and create down the field, that to me is what I feel like that offense is. And I feel like it will be, as far as just trying to grow and see positivity, you can't go get Kyle Shanahan. But there's got to be some version of an offensive coordinator that can run that style of offense for Cam.
Yeah, I mean, it is exactly why coaches from that tree are so in vogue in this league. It is a way to make up talent deficiencies.
It is.
100%. I think that you're certainly onto something. I think that athletically, the profiles of Cam Ward and Brock Purdy are somewhat similar. They're not runners, but they're mobile.
Yes.
And guys who can take what is given to them and manipulate space and manipulate the pocket to do more within a play. So I certainly like the comparison and think that although Cam is probably a marginally better athlete, he's certainly bigger and stronger. I think Purdy's maybe a little bit quicker. When you look at the two, and I'm willing to argue either way because I think there's not a huge difference in the way they move around the pocket, but yeah, I think it makes sense. And I think where, the Titans would come into that is saying like, all right, well then if we're going to try to be Shanahan light in this rebuild, who's our Christian McCaffrey? Because you don't get that version of Brock Purdy without the danger and the threat of Christian McCaffrey in the run game. And the way the linebackers' eyes are focused on 23, and then 13 kind of becomes the second priority. Like the Titans at this point have been able to show some consistency in the run game. They don't have that kind of present danger that a defense has got to put up with that allows Ricky Pearsall to look like a wide receiver 1, Jawan Jennings to look like a wide receiver 2. George Kittle, I'll give you, obviously is still probably a top 3 to 5 tight end in the NFL. When he's healthy, he's probably top 2 still in the way that he does his thing. But yeah, I think it's a good point. I think the corresponding question is, does that make it worth it to spend major draft capital or major free agency capital and go try to find the closest thing to Christian McCaffrey that you can in the 2026 offseason?
That's kind of the way it's going to look like. Now, again, where are you going with the head coach? That conversation has to play a part, but watching Purdy be as good as he was, being able to use his legs, like you said, not a runner, not fast, but good in space. Know when to go is a part of that offense too. And it was, I don't even want to call it fun, but it was dangerous in how they
entertaining.
It was entertaining, man. Yeah. And those are the things you have to do to get yourself to where you want to be. Like Brock Purdy's become a better quarterback. I can't sit here and say that he looks like the same guy that came out of Iowa 3-4 years ago. No, he's better than that. Iowa State.
Those are funny
a
words.
Black and gold one team. Yeah. Iowa
Red
State.
And yellow.
Red and yellow. Yeah. Well, Audie's she's at that school, right? The basketball player, female basketball. The female basketball
Audie?
player.
The car?
No, that's her name. You've seen her. I'm going to send you a picture of her. She's cold, too. She's like a bigger girl that plays in the post, man. She is crazy. But, yes. Now, if that is their game plan moving forward for the players that they have inside of this building, like I do think there are some versions of it. Like Eli Manor, if he ever gets to a point to where he can catch the football consistently, you got a down the field stretch guy in Chimere Dike. Again, the questions on if you sign back Chig Okonkwo, who just listening to y'all's talk about him yesterday and also the TV broadcast, like teams are going to be I feel higher than expected on Chig Okonkwo. Do you keep him in-house? We mentioned last week, right? Do you go get a guy like Kyle Pitts? Like, he fits that style, I feel like, who's an athlete type in space. That would be a huge weapon for Cam Ward. Now, the issue that they had, though, as far as the Titans go, is the consistency of opening drives. What was it? 3 and out on the first drive, and then I'm looking at the script right now. It was 10 in the next and a field goal.
Yeah, and they had scored in 4 straight games in the opening drive.
Yeah.
And that ended yesterday.
But that's unique to what they're doing right now. This offense, I hope for Cam's sake, yes, that's her name. Audie Crooks is her name, at Iowa State.
I'm not watching a whole lot of Iowa State women's basketball. I
She's
apologize.
cold. She's a big in the paint, and she uses her body well, man. But there will be opportunities to see what they do for Cam. I am of the mindset now, better skill set makes him a better player. The drive that he has to keep his team in the game is where I would hope an offense protects him from those moments too. Because I don't think you saw Brock Purdy in bad situations in that offense. And that offensive line isn't the greatest. I know Trent Williams is, but Trent Williams is 39 years old right now too. That offense protects a guy like Cam.
Cam Ward yesterday, 18 of 29, 170, 2 touchdowns, 101.2 quarterback rating. He was not sacked by a San Francisco defense that is 32nd in the NFL in sacks, with 16 of them all season. How do you evaluate Cam? How good or bad or just meh was he for you yesterday?
How good or bad? Cam was above the line. The issues have been his issues. They didn't go away yesterday. His overthrows were problematic at times. I'm not sure if that's technique. I'm not sure if that's not having a feel for it, or is his wide receivers practicing with him throughout the duration of the week. But the one, I think, who was it? To Chimray, he threw that one way over and out of bounds. But the ball got zip on it.
Van Jefferson was the one that was wide open on the double move. Cover zero.
One. He's eager. He's young, is what I would say.
That's just a play that's got to be hit.
It's got to be hit.
It's just a play that's got to be hit. And to me, Ramon, I think the downfield accuracy remains my biggest concern about Cam Ward. And his ability to hit open, those aren't layups. I'd call those mid-range jumpers. Yeah. I'd call those 15-footers. Like, for where he is right now, we're not asking you to make a bunch of threes. We're asking you to make layups and some mid-range. And I think that's a fair expectation. I think it's a fair ask of Cam. When Van Jefferson's open 30 yards down the field, you got to put it on him. You got to give him a chance. And he did later in the game on the play that Van got hurt on that set him up for the Jeffrey Simmons touchdown catch, which we'll talk about. But those are the throws that I think are the biggest red flag about Cam Ward today. Do you agree?
I agree with you there. Those are the ones quarterbacks have to hit. I can't think off top right now if somebody's made themselves a better deep ball passer. I know that was a conversation of, and it's not comparing them, but he never could get it the way you wanted him to. But the Will Levis conversation was he wasn't able to hit the deep ball at a rate in which you kept wanting to do it. And that, of course, is a different conversation. But when it comes down to touch, feel, leading your wide receiver in the right way, he's kind of missed on times that could have closed the game out a little bit better. And I feel like that Van Jefferson touchdown would have changed the entire lookout of that game, at least in that moment. They went up, what was it? Going into halftime, it was 17-10.
17-10.
17-10.
And that was because of the missed field goal by Joey Sly at the end. So you score that. I mean, it's a tie ball game going into half, and then all of a sudden a 49ers touchdown to come out of the second half.
Right.
It doesn't feel like such a backbreaker because, unfortunately, 2-score leads in the second half. Coach Mack said it on the broadcast. Like, it allows the defense to play in a different way and come after you in more predictable passing situations. And this offense, it's hard for them to be predictable and good. Yeah. That's just the reality of who the Titans are on offense right now. They need the threat of being able to run or pass on any given play. And I'll give them credit, Ramon. They're starting to stay with the run game more.
Yes.
Even in passing downs and in separated scores, it feels to me like that's one of the reasons why they are running the football better. Mm-hmm. They're actually committing to it for all 4 quarters, despite what the score says, because you kind of have to in order for this offense to have some success. But that, to me, is a major shift in this football game. The inability of Cam Ward to hit a wide-open Van Jefferson. And in the NFL, let's be honest, that was wide open.
That was wide open.
And Cam, if he was sitting here, would tell you the exact same thing. That was wide open. He was frustrated clearly on the field, and he should be. It's a miss. It's a big miss.
And that's an off-season fix for sure. But again, you asked me how he was. I thought he was above the line. He was over 60% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, man. And he didn't put the ball in a bad situation, even in the pocket, even in his rollouts.
Yeah, he had the one that Malik Mustafa should have intercepted.
Well,
and then as he's taking it to the ground, he just dropped it.
Well, he had like 2 or 3 of those, too.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, he put the
call
ball
that
in harm's
living
way.
right. You call it living right, Will?
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll
take whatever we can get right now. 615-737-1045, our number. We will go to Mike in Cleveland. When we come back, we'll hear from Mike McCoy as well after this. Your thoughts on Titans and 49ers at 615-737-1045 as Ramon and Will wraps up hour one on this Monday morning. Let's go to the phones for the first time. Mike is in Cleveland leading us off. Mike, good morning. How are you, sir?
Morning, Mike.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning to y'all. Good peoples. How y'all doing this Monday?
Cold.
Can't complain.
Man, yeah, man, you look like you in a warm spot, Will. You didn't even come into work this morning. All right.
If you hear the sound of my voice, I came into work this morning, Mike. There's no doubt about that.
2 hands on the steering wheel, Mike.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, look, I've been in snowstorms, all weekend, yesterday. Today, we just got snow on the ground, so it ain't falling. So, it's a good day. Yeah. It's going to get 40 later on this week, so I'm very much looking forward to 40.
Imagine that, 40 being a good thing with West
balmy.
Yo, man, I couldn't even leave the house Saturday, man, but
Good.
The Lord showed favoritism on me because my neighbor got a plow on his four-wheeler and he came and plowed the driveway, so I didn't even have to shovel nothing, so I'm going to take it.
You know what? I'm changing your name. You freeload Mike now.
No, I'm Mike in Tennessee, baby. I'm Mike from Tennessee. That's how the neighborhood know me, But no, homie. So about the game, listen. It's a bunch of things I want to comment on, but I'm gonna stick to the offense. I'm gonna say for the first time, I was actually encouraged because y'all touched on it some. One, they kept Pollard in. They stopped, earlier in the season, man, it's like, when Spears got healthy enough to get on the field, it's like they kept trying to think of ways to get him in the game to, and was taking, touches away from Pollard. And, now after these last 2 games, man, they stuck to Pollard. Like y'all said earlier, they was more committed to the running game, and we see, like, what's developed. True enough, our receivers still ain't, got good hands, ain't catching the ball when like how they should. But, you can see where these young guys are, have developed. And that's what's keeping me encouraged, man. They young, they rookies. We got our rookies are starting to show up more and more. They're still fighting. I think that, we really starting to see like, some foundation being laid out, being poured. It's just, putting everything together and being consistent about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But, so that kind of had me encouraged as far as like, moving forward towards next year. Is just all about what we're going to do as head coach. But I'm encouraged to see these rookies still fighting, still making plays. My question that I had about Cam, and please don't attack me because God forbid if we are critical about Cam, but
it's true.
It looks like Cam is still holding on to the ball a little too long on some plays. Like maybe his timing is off or something, or I don't know. I mean, is that a fair thing to say about him as far as like he still needs to get some timing down? But that's my question. And so, man, y'all take it easy, man. Y'all stay warm. And
you too, Mike.
I'll be listening.
Be safe.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate the call.
Mike from Tennessee.
What do you think, Ramon? Do you think he's holding the ball too long still?
I do, but that could be the results of wide receivers not being able to get open, the routes being broken some also. So to give, just a fair answer to Cam about that, it could be one of 2 things. And yes, it could be still his processing. He's a rookie still. The ability to grow, like that's the reason the coach brought in Phillip Rivers is because he knows how to process information and get the football out and not put it in bad situations. That's why those matchups between veteran quarterbacks is always so highly touted because it's going to be something that's going to be exciting for them. The talent pool that he has at wide receiver, I feel like just isn't good right now or as good as it should be or can be. And that's why I've been bringing up this offensive style that Shanahan runs. It might force Cam to get the ball out of his hands, to have targets be in places because a lot of that offense is timing, I feel like. Or if it's not, guys know how to create and get open in those moments, man. It's that offense for him would force the ball out of his hand and have guys in their spots because it's such a rhythmic style when it goes down to the way the 49ers are running it. I don't know who's the Shanahan type out there. I just don't know if Cam is a drop-back pro-style guy because to Mike's point right there, or Mike's question, the ball is in his hand long. And it's only so long that the offensive line can hold up before somebody seeps through, and that's why you see him rolling around the way he does.
The answer on who is out there that is that system, Clint Kubiak.
Clint Kubiak?
Mm-hmm. 2023 San Francisco 49ers passing game coordinator, offensive assistant in Denver from 2016 to 2018. It'd be Clint Kubiak would be your Shanahan tree option. West Coast offense. I mean, like the name, Kubiak is a West Coast offense name akin to Shanahan.
That's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to push that off on people, but watching Brock Purdy play, I don't think, as I said before, he's the highest pedigree of quarterback out there, but he looks like it in that offense.
He's good for the system.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's go to Eric in Nashville up next. Good morning, Eric.
Morning, Eric.
Yeah, well, this sounds like you're battling a little bit. I am kind of a little bit myself, so hopefully, with the weather warming up, it won't be too bad because I'm tired of this really, really bitter cold. But as far as the game goes yesterday, guys, I'll be honest, I only saw the first half because I went to a Christmas program and missed the second half. I thought the first half was frustrating with some of the penalties, especially one in particular where Coach Mack pointed out on the radio, and don't remember the player's name, was number 39, which I thought was a horrible call. It's just
Daryl Baker.
Yeah. I heard there was also some other few questionable calls on defense. That was real frustrating. But here's what was wild, guys. So the Christmas program ends, and I'm, trying to get up my phone to find out what the score of the game is. And I have two good friends of mine from church, Shane and Catherine, married couple. And Catherine comes up to me and says, Eric, man, Jeffrey Simmons just caught a touchdown pass. I say, what? So I had to turn on my phone and everything, find out the score and stuff. I didn't get to, of course, see the play, but then I got home later on and saw the play. Just so happy for him. Hated that I missed that and everything, but just real, real happy for him. But as far as Sunday, guys, real excited. Get back home. Hopefully we win one of these last two games. Hate that Mahomes got hurt, guys, but I just want to see a win to snap that 11-game home losing streak, guys. I'm tired of losing at home. I want to be able to cheer victory at the end of a home game, guys. But I know a lot of people still concerned about whether or not we're in the running for the first-round draft pick. Don't care about that, guys. If that happens, I'll deal with it. But I want to win, guys. I just want to see a home victory. Guys, tighten up, take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you, Eric. Appreciate the call. Let's do some Cam Ward audio when we come back.
Yeah.
Where do you put the blame on some footballs hitting the ground yesterday that needed to be caught? Was yesterday a day where Cam Ward let his receivers down, or did receivers let Cam down? Overall, you hear from Mike McCoy in hour 2 as well. Your phone calls still at 615-737-1045. Is hour 2 of Reaction Monday on Ramon and Will begins next.
7:02, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans fall 37-24 to the 49ers on Sunday, but showed some fight as they dropped to 2-12 on the season. Cam Ward threw for 170 yards, 2 touchdown passes, one to rookie tight end Gunnar Helm, and the other to defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons had another sack on Sunday, which brings his 2025 total to 9, which is a career high for him. And also Tony Pollard rushed for 104 yards yesterday, which was the first time that he as a Titan rushed for over 100 yards in consecutive games. In NFL news, the Chiefs lost to the Chargers 16-13 and will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. But they also lost quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who tore his ACL and will miss the remainder of the season. The Titans and the Chiefs play this Sunday at Nissan Stadium. Packers star pass rusher Micah Parsons, who left the game early against the Broncos yesterday, is also believed to have torn his ACL. More tests are on the way for him. And with their Sunday losses, both the Rams and Broncos have both clinched a playoff berth for this postseason. And in college football on Saturday, Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza took home the Heisman Trophy. Mendoza received almost 1,000 more votes than second-place Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia. Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame finished third, and Julian Sayin of Ohio State finished fourth. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
One hour down and 3 more to go. Monday morning starts right here on Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer. 615-737-1045. How you jump in. Lots more Titans reaction coming up here in hour 2. 49ers 37, Titans 24. Ramon, you have said to start the show this morning that you thought Cam Ward was above the line. Mm-hmm. Solid. What did you like the most about his performance yesterday?
I liked his aggressiveness that you saw from time to time. He's still being able to manipulate the pocket in a way I thought was super unique. And those flashes of why I feel like a lot of people that watched this Miami tape specifically fell in love with him showed up again. The ability to scramble, to create, to find guys down the field. Now, here's the thing. A couple of those footballs hit 49ers' hands and just fell to the ground. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? But that stuff that you can clean up. The deep passes down the field that he missed, the wide-open shot to Van Jefferson. Like, you got to hit that one, but that's a teach thing. I look at that and say he's still a rookie, and there's his ability to get better that you'd hope. And again, better weapons, better cohesion with the offense, and it's been better the last couple of weeks, but you can build around him. You legitimately can build around Cam. Again, just looking at the numbers, 62% completion percentage, no turnovers, offensive line helped him from time to time, but you can't say all of that without actually also being real by saying he could have had 2 interceptions yesterday and did. At least
right.
2. But again, I'll add this, it's better to be lucky than good on days where you're competing.
Yeah, I think if this is average for Cam Ward, that's a good thing for the Titans. That's kind of where I'm at this point. I think this was a decent day at the office. I'm probably not as high on it as you are, just because I think those downfield shots have just got to start connecting for him to really feel like we're making progress. And I think the nature of the defense you're playing lends itself to the story about not getting sacked. 49ers have 16 sacks all season.
That's tough.
To me, it's a miracle their defense has been as good as it has, considering how little pressure they get on the quarterback with what Robert Saleh has to work with the injuries that they've had, with Bryce Huff being their leading sack getter with 4 this season. It's just incredible when you talk about what the 49ers defense has been and the fact that is what their sack output is. I want to talk about the Van Jefferson play and miss. Cam Ward was asked about it yesterday and had this to say.
Just overthrew it. Try to put it too much outside his shoulder. Then instead of just, throwing him upfield.
Do you feel like you were having to rush to throw it on?
I mean, I had to look at the film and see. But at the end of the day, I just got to, put in at least his vicinity for him to make a play.
He was playing from behind most of the game. How do you evaluate how the day went up?
I mean, it was good besides the 3 and outs. Those were the biggest thing. And, you know, that's what hurt us the whole game, us not starting fast first half and second half. And then I think just the little mishaps on my end from, you know, a run play only getting 1 yard. So, you know, it's just the little things that we got to continue to clean up. But I think, you know, we're playing, you know, very good, especially up front. Those guys, they've been leading the way the whole year. I think they did an unbelievable job in pass protection today. And the run game, you know, they're the reason why we were able to run the ball efficiently.
It's Cam Ward speaking through a couple of flash rainstorms there.
No. He mentioned the Van Jefferson throw. Sometimes you can just overthrow it because you're thinking about putting it in a perfect spot. That again, he's in a thinking phase right now. I feel like in his young NFL career, he's thinking about making the big play. He's thinking about throwing the perfect pass. And at some point, with more reps, more eyes on his receivers when it come down to where they're going to be at, it'll be more of what I always like to say. It's a field thing for him. Throwing the football or throwing the baseball turns into that sometimes. I feel like you just know where to go with it and how your guys got to have it. And of course, that was such an egregious overthrow. You could tell he thought where the ball should go and not realizing where his feet were, where his eyes were, where his wide receiver was in relation to where the sideline was. So it was a miss. But again, he had others that were better passes throughout the day too. The one to Gunnar Helm down the seam.
Terrific. High-level throw. And I think that's the exciting thing about Cam's development right now, Ramon, is you are seeing some of those moments more often. You're seeing some high-level stuff. We just got to see it a little more consistently with Cam. Was also asked after the game, Cam, are you guys shifting to more of a run-first team? He had this to say.
I think we're shifting towards that. Each and every week we get better at something in the run game, a little thing that's probably the reason why we haven't had, big plays in the last couple games. But the last 2 weeks been good because, everyone's emphasizing straining the finishing blocks. Then the running backs are seeing it real well. I think Tony and Tajay had a good day on the ground. I think they did a good job at pass protection today. And now we just got to continue to, not let one play happen, one bad play happen, and really just, try to, have good plays.
So that's Cam Ward speaking after yesterday's loss. 14 carries for 104 for Tony Pollard, 7.4 yards per carry and a touchdown. Cam, like you mentioned, 18 of 29, 170, 2 touchdowns, no sacks, no huge mistakes, albeit with one to Malik Mustafa that was just totally dropped as far as an interception is concerned. Are you seeing a common thread, Ramon, in what's happening when Cam is inaccurate? Like when he's missing these downfield throws, is it for the same reason? Is it case by case? Like what is the thing that's not clicking for Cam when he's missing open receivers like Van Jefferson yesterday?
I think he's hesitant with how he's going to give it to him. Not that he's thinking about how he's going to throw it to him, but it looks as if he's, okay, I got to do this and put it directly in this spot. And when you got pro players, man, sometimes it's their job to just catch it too. That catch that Van Jefferson had that set him up for the score towards the end zone, towards the end zone, he just tossed it up in the vicinity of where he was.
Gave him a chance.
Yeah, gave him a chance. And that's what you're looking for in those moments. A lot of those passes I feel like he's missed on is let me directly put it on their chest type of passes. I'm not a quarterback. I played it in the backyard of my grandmama's house from time to time, all-time quarterback situations. But it looks feet and upper body aren't aligned. I think he's seeing it. But when you watch him just let go of it like his and maybe that's just going to be his style, but it doesn't look like his lower body is matching what his upper body needs to do in those moments.
So should he be stepping into the throw more is what you're saying?
Or just have his baseline good. I heard, I think it was in the late game last night, they were speaking about the quarterback in the pocket. It may have been J.J. McCarthy or forget who it was,
9?
Dak. 9, yeah. That guy. But they were speaking about his base being good because that allows you to just get down the field. If you look at a young guy that'll be compared to Cam for a while too, Drake May, his feet are settled. It's almost as if he's just tapping in space when he's getting ready to throw the ball. Cam looked like he's trying to open up and toss it as if he's, doing a drop step or something from time to time. His shoulders lean back a little bit. That's all technique stuff. And I'm sure at some point in time, can't wait to get to the offseason to work on those types of things. But I've never played that position. I just listen to what other guys who have played it say about it. Coaches that watch and evaluate. I've heard Coach Mack mention him matching his top and his lower together at the same point too. It's raw is what Cam is. And that's why I said finding an offense that can hide those issues and put him in a position where he can become a gunslinger and have options that are readily available for him too.
Sure.
That's where you want to see him grow.
The way I understand it, again, speaking from someone's experience that obviously did not play quarterback or even professional football like you did for 11 years, is that you always want to err on the side of using big muscles versus small muscles.
Yeah.
And sports are about repeatable actions. What can you do that is easy to repeat and be consistent? And you look at any level of sport, you are looking for a repeatable delivery in pitching, in throwing, in golf. Like if anyone who out there who golfs knows, like you want to use big muscles, not small muscles. When you turn and come through the ball when you swing, you don't want to flip your hands because you got so many small muscles in your hands and your wrist that it's hard to get those small muscles to do the exact same things every single time. That way you're repeating the same thing. There are many of you with bad golf swings like me that are nodding your head slowly right now going, yup, that's why I have a big slice or a big hook. But if you turn with your entire body through the ball, it is easier to control your big muscles to repeat the same thing over and over again, more so than it is your small ones. I think the same could be said in some ways about playing quarterback. Your big muscles, your base, your foundation, the platform from which you throw, that is easier to repeat if you are stepping into your throws in the same way. If you are stabilizing yourself in the same way, then you are just following through and throwing from that base. That's more easily repeatable than if your feet are not stepping into the throw. If your feet are closer together, all of a sudden your arm, your chest, your shoulder, and the smaller muscles have got to overcompensate for what your base hasn't done. Is that a fair way to look at it?
It is. And like you said, and those, I feel like Cam's pressing in those gotta have it moments too,
right,
to where all of that goes to whack. Like that's just me on the surface level watching it. I feel like he's probably almost say the same thing too. Like he needs a technique tune-up.
He does. And like we talked about last week, and like what Mike McCoy told the media, that's not something you're going to do midseason.
You can't do it in the NFL.
And I know we're not. I know we're not midseason. I know we're not late in the year. But unless you are a developmental player, I mean, and even really in the NFL, like even developmental players aren't getting a ton of individual technique tweaks. And again, to use the golf analogy, like guys aren't making swing changes in the middle of the tour season. They're making their swing changes now. They're making the major technique changes now because all of a sudden, then if you make big technique changes, Ramon, you can ruin things that were working. Because in order to really make big changes to take that next step up, sometimes you got to break things down a little bit. And the second you make a big technique change, all of a sudden you might start missing the layups. We talked about earlier, like Cam's going to hit more mid-range jumpers in the way that he throws the football. Like all of a sudden you might start missing layups once you try to hit the mid-range and hit the threes. So to me, that's something that's got to happen in the offseason. The other thing is, and I don't think this is an excuse for Cam, but I think it's the reality of where he is. He needs a big possession wide receiver. He needs a guy that can go up and get more of those jump balls. And I feel like, and Cam wouldn't admit this, and I'm not putting words in Cam's mouth in any context here, but Cam, to me, looks like he's trying to be very fine and precise to lead his receivers versus just give them a chance to go make a play. And in that moment, that's where we talk about the difference like between Joey Aguilar and Nico the last 2 years. Like, Joey wasn't totally precise on a lot of the deep balls he threw at Tennessee this year, but what was the difference? He gave his guys a chance. Nico didn't give his guys a chance. He was overthrowing it. Cam's not giving his receivers enough of a chance on deep balls. To me, because it feels like, hey, I got a lot of these speed guys. Chimere DK is going to take the top off the defense. Van Jefferson is not respectfully, even though he made the play yesterday, I'll give him credit. That's not Cam. That's not Van's game to be a big, physical, rangy, combat catcher, Moss, a defensive back type receiver. Fair? Like that's not
fair.
who Van is. Van's a fine veteran wide receiver. That's not his game. they need somebody that you can say, I'm going to throw it to this spot, go get it. And to me, that's the one thing that I think allows us to take the next step in evaluating Cam Ward, and also takes away any excuse for Cam to say, like, hey, you've got, I don't know, Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
Say, I mean, Alec Pierce is that guy. Alec Pierce is a deep threat wide receiver for Indy who will go up and get it. You bring Alec Pierce to this offense and Cam's still overthrowing him, we're going to have a different conversation. If Cam starts to give that guy a chance, all of a sudden you start hitting some of these 20, 30, 40-yard catches. All of a sudden those linebackers have to back up. The safeties have to back up. You can run the football. Now we're talking about a functional offense that can show us more consistency.
No doubt. And two, I know you just, that was the previous topic you brought up too about Cam and technique and working on stuff. That's why I was super adamant earlier on and midway through this season too about, like, all right, I need to see it from Cam, because the thing about you wanting to perfect technique, you can't do that to the offseason. And then you got to also bring that in when it gets hot in OTAs and minicamp. And I didn't see enough of his good plays to justify saying, like, yes, he's arrived right now. I think now you're starting to see some of those plays that he's capable of making at a better rate than he did earlier in the season. For whatever reason, Bo Hardegree and Nick Holtz have figured out what works for him, but now you're starting to see that. Now the technique part of it, the positivity side of, hey, this is good for you, this isn't good for you. I'm watching this play right now that the 49ers made the big play on, who was DeMarcus Robinson. Like, Brock Purdy plays broken down, rolling out to his right, and just hits him down to feel like he's got outlets too to just put the ball in an area and allow his wide receivers to make plays for him. And again, he doesn't have that consistently here, especially when the ball hits you dead in the chest. Jim Ray?
Agreed. 615-737-1045, our number. Coming up, what is the most concerning part of the loss yesterday and of this Titans team? Because, Ramon, as of the last 2 weeks, my answer has changed on this. I'll tell you why, coming up next. Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. For as little as $14 a month, become a Lee Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Even better, Lee Company Plus members receive up to 20% off on every visit, and they enjoy priority service. You can learn more online at leecompany.com/plus. I'm here to tell you that Platinum Home Protection starts with a Lee Company Plus membership. Hey, with how Mother Nature can throw different things at us here in Middle Tennessee, even in December, where, yes, it's cold right now in Middle Tennessee, but it might be in the 40s or 50s coming up here in just a couple of weeks. You never know. You got to stay ahead of Mother Nature. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical systems, you name it, Lee Company fixes it. And they can fix it for you too. LeeCompany.com/plus. Get 20% off on every visit and enjoy priority service with a Lee Company Plus membership. Online at LeeCompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Monday morning, Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins, our producer, 615-737-1045. So what's the most concerning thing about the Titans roster right now? I've changed my mind on this. Going to get to this in a minute. But first, let's go back to the phones. Again, you can join us there, 615-737-1045. Cam from the Ville is next. What's up, Cam?
What up, Cam?
Oh, shoot. Hey, guys, 1 second. I'm trying to turn this off.
1 second?
That's what I'm talking about, Cam. Hey.
Don't let us interrupt, Cam.
Cam with a delay of game, man. What's going on? You got us behind the sticks now, Cam.
You're all good.
Hey, I'm at work and supposed to be hiding. I got everybody listening. I'm in code and everything else, man. Anyway.
Flag on the play.
The flag, personal foul. So, real quick. The 49ers used draft capital to draft their number one pick in Trey Lance. And they moved on from him in a year and a half to get with Purdy, which worked out really well for them. Now, my question is, with the Joe Burrow incident, do they move draft capital to the Bengals to get Burrow? Because remember, he has 10 more years left. You don't have these rookie problems with Cam, and plus he can bring people in to play with him. So you might get that rebuild faster.
With trading for Joe Burrow?
Well, however you get it. Because then Joe Burrow can bring receivers, you can bring tight ends, then you can bring help on the defense because everybody on 1-2 year deals. So, and then with your draft, if your draft are as good as you say you are, or they say they are, they're going to learn with those veterans and still win football games. Let
me get this straight real quick, just for clarity. You're saying trade Cam to Cincinnati for Joe Burrow and draft capital?
I didn't say trade him.
Okay.
I didn't say trade him. Okay. I said get Joe Burrow. That's who I said.
Okay.
Get Joe Burrow.
Thank you, Cam. Okay. Appreciate the call.
No doubt.
Ramon, I don't see any world where Joe Burrow is playing for the Tennessee Titans. What it's going to take to get Joe Burrow in a trade, with all due respect to Cam, you're not in position to make any kind of move like that with the amount of needs you have on defense, on your offensive line, at receiver. Joe Burrow is not going to look like himself, in my opinion, throwing to the current supporting cast here versus the one that he's got in Cincinnati.
Yeah, no. I'll add this to Cam's point, though, too. The starting franchise quarterback position is by far, and I say this with respect to, and I said this before, by far one of the most fragile positions on any team. Heck, everybody's fragile about their starting position. Will, listeners, everybody is. If I was out of my backup winning, I'm trying to get in quick, okay? I'm trying to get back as healthy as I possibly can. I've seen guys come back from injuries way too soon because we are all very prideful and somewhat, I got to be honest with you, fragile.
Yeah.
About our positioning. And the quarterback is at the top of that list. If you brought in Joe Burrow by any means necessary here at one, that's going to be like 4 or 5 first-round draft picks to do that.
Yeah.
On top of the salary.
Just not.
And I don't know, two quarterback system. Cam, I love the idea because Joe Burrow seems like he want to be out of Cincinnati, or he's crying out for more help.
He's going through something.
He in it right now, ain't he?
Yeah, he's going through something. But even quarterbacks like that are going through something don't get moved.
They don't get moved.
You never say never. I will not speak in the absolutes to say they definitely won't move on from him, but I would be stunned if the Cincinnati Bengals moved on from Joe Burrow. I don't think that's realistic.
Their ownership is, now we're getting more calls right now in response to, I think, Cam's question right there. What I would tell you is this. I ain't going to say that's impossible, but doggone it, unless he's like Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston or one of those types, Joe Burrow better eat it and try to play as many games he can to win Cincinnati some games. That $250 million he got and those 2 number 1 wide receivers, figure it out. On Friday when Smokey Mom told him, make it enough. Like, that's what Cincinnati is telling Joe Burrow right now. Oh, you got enough protection? Make it enough.
All right, let's talk about this roster. Let's talk about the way this team lost yesterday, Ramon, and I think a trend that is starting. To set the scene and to kind of lay the table for this conversation, the Titans didn't have 3 safeties yesterday.
Yeah.
You missed Mike Brown on the opening kickoff, ankle injury out. Xavier Woods and Kevin Winston Jr. both with first-half hamstring injuries that sidelined them for the rest of this game. You had Kyer Elam and Kendall Brooks playing safety together for most of this football game. You didn't have Cedric Gray for the end of the game with a concussion, and that's just the defensive injuries. That's not even counting Kevin Zeitler going out. That's not counting you already missing Dan Moore at left tackle. Then you have, obviously, Van Jefferson, who has the back injury. Like, the Titans, like many other teams in the NFL yesterday, had a ton of injury issues. That being said, Ramon, if I told you that I now believe secondary is the biggest thing that Mike Berganzi and Chad Brinker have to fix this offseason, would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
I think it is becoming the biggest concern of this roster. I think it's the biggest spot that you've got to address this offseason. Ramon, I don't think there's any better example of this than what Shedeur Sanders did yesterday against the Bears versus what he did to you a couple weeks ago. 23 of 42, 364, 3 touchdowns and a pick against the Tennessee Titans, and a win for the Titans. I won't take that away from them. Against the Bears yesterday, Ramon, he was 18 of 35 for 177 and 3 interceptions. Brock Purdy yesterday really was completing passes as long as he just didn't make a mistake. And he threw some inaccurate ones, but 23 of 30, 295, 3 touchdowns, 140.3 QB rating. He took 2 sacks, one from Jeffrey Simmons, one from Jalen Harrell, and he carried the ball 7 times for 44 yards. Is secondary the most concerning part of this roster right now for you?
Yeah, because nobody fears it right now either. What we thought was going to be the biggest issue, the rush, has actually been pretty good for this team. It's been decent. It's been above the line. I saw Brock Purdy yesterday throw into triple coverage to Jawan Jennings, and the ball did hit the ground, but if you have a threat of a secondary, those are the things that they don't choose to do. They fear you in those moments right there. And the guy that you were supposed to be able to rely on, L'Jarius Sneed, isn't there, You got a bunch of young guys that are in this position or guys that are trying to find a way. Like Amani Hooker's been the steady Eddie of all of those guys, legitimately. But that's why I raised the question, how do you approach this draft season? I almost feel like you need as many picks as you possibly can, but the move
100%.
back to me would be to justify taking a corner or a safety after that. And I know safety is a set position. You don't necessarily need a safety, but if you're going to get a premier guy to help bring in and shore it up, and I'm not even at this point, Will, talking about a nickel guy. We always, I feel like as of late, and I think it's because LeJarry's been here and you had Awuzie and those guys as of late too, we've mentioned, just find a solid nickel. No, I think you need solid corners.
No, you need 3 starting corners next year.
Corners, yes.
To me, the kind of player that Marcus Harris is, and this is no slight to Marcus, I think it's the way Marcus is cast in the future. Guys like Marcus Harris are good depth and 4th corners. That's not a bad thing. That's the way that this needs to work in order to build a competitive and solid defense. Is let's not rely on Marcus Harris to have to be a full-time starter in his 2nd season as a day 3 draft pick. Let's rotate Marcus Harris in as a 4th corner and an option and a matchup guy who can come in with 3 other players. That to me is where I think the Titans have got to make different priorities. Who are you willing to bet on being immediately productive next season? To me, I would rather bet on edge rushers that are less proven commodities, benefiting from Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat being next to them, than I am from corners who are more put on islands and are kind of fending for themselves a little bit. And that's not totally fair to say that corners are totally fending for themselves. But Ramon, we are watching a defense get pressure on the quarterback that we thought had no chance of getting consistent pressure on the quarterback this season. Titans were, from the 4 weeks since their bye going into yesterday, 3rd in the NFL in pressure rate over the last 4 weeks. Yes, that's a small sample size. I get it. However, it's also all we have to go off of with Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat healthy at the same time on the field together. So I think it's fair. And I think yesterday, again, is fair to say that, like, they had Brock Purdy moving around. They've got to do a better job, as Coach Mack said on the broadcast time and time again yesterday, plastering on the back end.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the improvisational things that Brock Purdy did, Ramon, seem to be more secondary issues than they were front seven, or at least the Russian coverage working together, right? Like, I think that this secondary has got to be fully overhauled at the cornerback position next season.
Man, if you look at it, just a team, one of the teams that's doing well in the division has the opportunity to make the playoffs. It's the Houston Texans, for instance, right? To your point about that group, like, they're starting cornerback Derek Stingley Jr., generational type guy, can be generation. I hate putting that on people, but he's daggone good. Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie is a nickel for them. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Kalen Bullock and Miles Bryant, like, filling it up, but also Jalen Mills behind them. Like, to your point, the depth and just quality of those guys need to go up. Here's the other question I have to ask against, because we're talking about threats at these positions, why that's a position of need. The question that I have, and I feel like needs to be asked and well answered, is which one of these threat positions is easier to fill, wide receiver or cornerback? That to me,
good question.
I'll give my answer on this because I hate asking, what do you think, and not giving my opinion. My opinion is this. I feel like it's easier to find a wide receiver than it is a cornerback.
It depends on where you're picking.
I think
it's part of it.
First 3 rounds.
Is Carnell Tate there? Is Mekhi Lemon there? Or Jermon McCoy and Davis Mendoza and Colton Hood? I know I just named 2 Tennessee guys, but they're going to be at the top of that conversation this upcoming offseason. Like, would you be okay with the Titans taking a cornerback in the first round? Yes or no?
If they move back.
Okay.
If you have the ability, because, again, corner. Joe Hayden is one of the best cornerbacks I've been around. He's a top 5 guy. If there's Joe Hayden level type talent, and I only bring him up because I played with Joe and watched him, even as he got older, still be good. If you can be good as Joe Hayden was as a top 5 pick, yes, take it. Don't even ask no questions. I'll find a 2nd round wide receiver and give me a 3rd round edge rusher. That's the way I look at that position. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I kind of see them. If that type is there, and I hadn't dove into the dark side of the draft right now. I can't wait to talk to Stoney Keeley and guys like that about it, because they're always watching. But if there's that type, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's that type that is out there, yes, give me a top 5 corner. But if not, I'll take them 8 to 12 and say, you know what, we'll build off this, especially if you can pick up another pick somewhere down the line.
Well, the thing I'll say on that is that, as you know, right, as you know, not every class is created equally. Not every prospect is created equally. You may have the opportunity to take your number 1 receiver who is in green and number 1 on your board, and you might only have your 3rd or 4th corner out there, because we don't know what red flags, what medical checks, what meetings go right or wrong with teams. Like, you can't pigeonhole yourself into saying in December, the Titans have to do this, because we don't know who they have available to take, right? And I know you know that, and we're, fleshing all this out in real time, because, like, listing priorities on a flow chart does not mean that those are checked off in order. Sometimes the order of operations have got to be out of order a little bit, and just because you have the opportunity to take Jermon McCoy in the first round, you might not have liked the medicals. You may not have liked the meeting you had with him. Heck, we learned that the hard way with Shedeur Sanders on the way his draft stock worked, obviously, and we don't get all the information on these things. But one thing is for sure, though. I think corner is one of the most plug-and-play positions from college to the NFL. And I think that corner relies less on someone else doing their job in order for you to succeed than even wide receiver does. Like, if my job is to cover the guy in front of me, it doesn't matter if it marginally where the ball's placed, like for a wide receiver. Like, a wide receiver can get 5 yards of separation. If the ball's not there, he's not catching the ball. You're right? Like, at corner, mano-a-mano, I'm beating you. Yes, it obviously matters where the ball is placed, but I think less so. There's less responsibility on guys around you. Here's the question you got to ask. If you've got 2 prospects that are, you think, graded equally, or you've got 2 guys that you think are graded equally, Do you want to be a better team right now with a better plug-and-play player? Or do you want the thing that helps Cam Ward's development the most? The Titans are going to have to walk and chew gum at the same time because they have to do what's better for Cam Ward. At any turn, when all things are equal, Ramon, this offseason, how do you fix the secondary and still always do what's best for Cam? That's the question this offseason. 615-737-1045. What concerns you most about the Titans roster right now? We'll get to your calls next.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I've got good news. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment plan that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day and is guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class doctors, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and I recommend them to everyone. Listen to me. For your free consultation and $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 629-348-HAIR. That's 629-348-HAIR. Or visit a website at advancedhair.com.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Will Bowling. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. Don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out all higher interest debt and lowering your bills by thousands. Call 615-499-5780 and see how much cash you can get today at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. What is the most concerning thing right now about the Titans roster? Your phone call 615-737-1045. 49ers 37, Titans 24 in Week 15. Ramona Will Reaction Monday rolls on.
I got another concern, too. I think that's kind of showing this, I guess, good side.
Hit me.
What do you do with Corey Leven?
What do you mean?
Do you trust him enough to make him a starter?
Ramon, I was asking myself the same question yesterday on the sideline.
And I don't say that.
Corey Levin's a really good football player.
I don't say that out of disrespect to him at all when I ask that question. But it's a real one that needs, I think, be brought up. We can discuss it now if you want.
Has he shown you enough this season to warrant a closer look at starting next year?
I say if you want anything out of Corey, because here's the thing about Corey Leven. Corey Leven isn't young. What is he, like 7-8 years in right now too?
Yeah, he's the longest tenured Titan. I know technically, that tenure has started and stopped as he's been cut and signed and cut and signed and all these things. But 31 years old.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He was drafted out of UT Chattanooga in the 6th round of the 2017 NFL draft by the Tennessee Titans.
He'll be 32 next year at some point.
To me, as a rule, Ramon, these are the kinds of players that are good depth pieces. And in the same way we were just talking about Marcus Harris a minute ago, if the Titans are going to take a step forward as a team and as an organization, these are the types of guys you've got to be okay with being backups. I think it's a part of building good depth, whether that's young players that are earning more or whether it's veteran players who have earned the right to stick around and play in a pinch. I think having someone who's a utility backup like this who can probably play any of the 3 interior line spots, I don't think you go replacing that guy. I think in today's NFL, as bad as backup linemen are, respectfully, versus what they used to be with spread offenses with lighter in the butt linemen, for lack of a better term, that come up from college every single year, to me, having a swing inside player this good in and of itself is a luxury that you want to hold on to.
Yeah. I kind of view it that way because the part of me that says, yes, I want to believe in him is taken away quickly by him being 31 years old. Now, he's also a different 31-year-old than a lot of other guys in the league, too. He's only started, if I'm not mistaken, under 10 games in his entire NFL career. So he doesn't have the wear and tear, and that's where the question arises with a guy like him. What is he like as a full-time starter? He's never even had that as far as, in the backup reserve role where he was filling in for somebody throughout the duration of the season. So that's the only issue that I have with that. But as far as him being back, I say, yeah, it's just that do you make next year a competition at right guard or do you go find your starter? And if it's just between him and whoever else, do you trust him to win it?
Well, and is Jackson Slater one of those guys that's battling for a position there, who's essentially taking on a redshirt year this year, is the one Titans draft pick we haven't seen yet?
If it is Jackson Slater, that is the pathway that most guys like him from Sacramento State need into the NFL.
Yeah, it's what you have to have, right?
Maybe the most curated player on the roster right now is Jackson Slater.
Yeah. And two, I think we're gonna honestly need to have a conversation this week, Ramon. If Kevin Zeitler can't go, is the best thing for your franchise starting Corey Leven at right guard?
Yeah.
Or is the best thing for your franchise seeing what you have in Jackson Slater and starting him at right guard? Because that's probably not best for Cam Ward right now.
Who's the boogeyman on the other side this week? Chris Jones.
Well, he got hurt yesterday, too.
He did? Where did I miss this one at?
I don't know, but he got hurt yesterday, too.
Oh, my God.
Everybody, look, headline, NFL, right, everyone's hurt. Truly, everyone is hurt.
Of course.
That's the kind of question you got to answer right now. If you are Mike McCoy, Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, is it in your best interest to always do what's best for Cam Ward? Or do you want to learn a little bit about another young player? I don't know. And honestly, the answer to that is probably from what does Jackson Slater look like at practice with information that we are not privy to. And I understand that we're doing evaluation of a situation that we don't have all the facts on. And I get that. It's hard to speak in absolutes either way or the other. That's why we're not. I don't know is my answer. But I do think that is a legitimate topic. and a legitimate question that's got to be answered. Is it best to play the young guy and see what you got in the young guy, or always, without a shadow of a doubt, protect Cam Ward the best way you have possible, which right now would be playing Corey Leven at right guard. And maybe Zeitler can go again this weekend. I don't know. But that's the kind of discussion I think is probably going on in that building this week.
Somebody in our comments said, screw it. Toss Slater in there, see what happens. If he comes out in a bag of crap on fire, then pull him mid-game and put Leven in.
Maybe. I mean, I think you got to commit one way or another, but maybe.
Be using offensive linemen as crash dummies out here.
Let's go back to the phones. Kevin in Clarksville wants to chime in on our last caller's point about trading for Joe Burrow. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, Kevin?
How we doing today, fellas?
We're good. Good morning, man.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so I want to talk about what Cam said about going for Burrow. Yeah, I don't see that happen like you guys say. To me, that's very dumb. We got a young quarterback. We give up on players and coaches too quick here in Tennessee, and that's why we're in the problem that we're in right now, where we got to give them a chance to go and hopefully get the right people around them to give the players a chance. And also, with what you guys are saying about the positions and need, I totally agree with you guys on defensive back. Our defensive back, our cornerbacks look like trash. So if we can get some help for them, we might be a better team for next year. But I like where we're going. I like the close games. I like that we still fighting or whatever. The team's showing that they can improve in the next couple of years. Super Bowl, by the time we get the new stadium, and tightens up.
Hey, that clock is quick right there too, Kevin. That clock is real quick. 27 is right around the corner too, and that stadium is right there.
Mm-hmm. It's got glass up. It looks good. Yep.
It does. It's getting exterior walls and everything, man.
Yeah, we just need that on the roster, and we'll be in good shape. I will tell you where the Titans do have a foundation built already. Good transition by me. Not really. Jeffrey Simmons has proven the Titans right. I'll explain what I mean coming up next.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay, though.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
Work, it's what we do, part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
.801, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans fall 37-24 to the 49ers in Santa Clara on Sunday, and they dropped to 2-12 on the season. Cam Ward threw for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, one to rookie tight end Gunnar Helm and the other to defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons had another sack Sunday, which brings his 2025 total to 9, which is a career high. And Tony Pollard rushed for 104 yards yesterday, which was his first time as a Titan to rush for over 100 yards in consecutive games. In other NFL news, the Chiefs lost to the Chargers 16-13 yesterday, and they'll miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. To make matters worse, quarterback Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and will miss the remainder of the 2025 season. The Titans host the Chiefs this Sunday, who will likely start Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Packers star pass rusher Micah Parsons, who left the game early yesterday against the Denver Broncos, is also believed to have torn his ACL. And per ESPN's Adam Schefter this morning, the belief is that Ravens linebacker Teddy Buchanan, the team's second leading tackler, tore his ACL in Sunday's win over the Cincinnati Bengals. Buchanan will undergo additional testing today to confirm that injury. And with their wins on Sunday, both the LA Rams and Denver Broncos have clinched a playoff berth for the 2025 postseason. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, hour 3, 8 a.m. in beautiful, freezing Nashville, Tennessee. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins. A show that hates the cold, but tolerates it this time of year. 615-737-1045 is our number. Always streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon Foster, true or false? Jeffrey Simmons has proven the Titans right for not trading him.
Yes, absolutely.
True?
True, yes.
I agree.
He's proven them right. Easily.
9 sacks as of yesterday. Career high for Jeff, who very vocally talked about getting double-digit sacks this past offseason. He also made a little bit of history yesterday because not only was he a sack getter and game wrecker again at defensive line, he also was a tight end. And Jeffrey Simmons is the NFL's first player in 11 years with a strip sack and a touchdown reception in the same game. 2014. You know who the last one was, Ramon?
2014?
Mm-hmm. You can
sack
get this.
and a fumble?
This is gettable. Yep.
James Harrison?
Nope. AFC player.
AFC, Von Miller?
Nope.
Is he from the Chiefs?
Nope. Keep going. Someone's going to guess this.
And a touchdown? I'm trying to think. Mike Vrabel?
Nope.
Oh.
2014. Come on.
2014. Who's dominant in
What's
that
the
era?
division?
I ain't got a clue.
AFC South.
Derek
J.J.
Morgan?
Watt.
J.J. Watt is correct. Yes.
Boo.
Yes. J.J.
We're
Watt,
gonna turn
2014.
We're going to turn down for Watt.
The first. All right. Okay.
I knew it.
What on earth was that?
Yay.
By the way,
Dad
can I
jokes.
say something about him real quick? He's solid on this broadcast, by the way, too. He don't do too much. I got to give it to J.J. Watt, man. He turned over a leaf.
That's the first time in his life he's ever been described as not doing too much, the way he carries himself. Look, J.J. Watt has always known where the camera was. He's always known where the camera was during his playing career, so I understand that how he can be nice to it now.
Yeah.
I'm being a jerk. Yes, he is good on TV. I agree. He was a little corny for me as a player, but yes, I think he does a really good job. Seems to be a good guy. I'm just giving.
It's so hard for you to compliment him right now.
It's fine. Yeah. This is where I have to remind people I have been a Titans fan my whole life. I'm just like many of y'all in that I will give credit, but I'll do so gritting my teeth a little bit because that guy took a fake selfie over Zach Mettenberger's body in a Titans jersey and has just inflicted a little bit too much pain on me, Ramon. I can't totally turn off the pain that J.J. Watt caused me in a lot of his NFL career.
He took a selfie over Mettenberger's body?
Yeah, just Google Wills VTech and horrible things will pop up on your search.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, AFC South hate is rich, though. I gotta
all right, well, let's talk about what the Titans do have in Jeffrey Simmons and the guy that ended a J.J. Watt last to do something record yesterday. Jeffrey Simmons speaking with the media post-game yesterday, talking about the commitment he made this offseason.
I think we talk about so much things when you're talking about the way the season goes and how the season should go. I made a commitment. I would say, like, my commitment this past offseason, the way I wanted to attack this season, the way I wanted to change my body, this time I actually, focus on the small details, my body, my, the mental part of it, then the play. I think when you sit and, like I said, I do a lot of reflecting in the offseason, and I'm like, this is not where I want to be at. And when I did that, which I talked to you guys this offseason, it's the reason why I made the weight changes, the reason why, the diet and things of that nature. So, and the biggest thing for me was consistency. When I came into the season, the last couple of season haven't been going my way. I mean, as a team, our way, and you kind of let things slip. And this year, I made a commitment to myself that I'll stay consistent no matter what, no matter win, lose, draw, whatever it may be. I think that was kind of my mindset, and it's been working for me. Of course, shout out to my teammates. Like, a lot of that stuff and things, some of the sacks that happen, I'm just not doing it by myself, of course. But, just taking advantage of them one-on-ones. I ended up having that guard. It was kind of surprising because, of course, I was getting the slide. And, the moments where I finally get a one-on-one versus my last couple of years in my career, I'm like, I get surprised. It's like, oh, they finally gave me a one-on-one. This year, I try to attack every play like I'm going to get a one-on-one. And finally got it and, made a hell of a play on the ball. I was kind of nervous on the sideline because in the past, them plays haven't gone our favor. When they go and do a boot reviews, I'm like, please don't do this to us today. So, I'm excited. I was excited as hell to, get my career high today and, hopefully we can keep stacking and, finish the season out the right way.
Jeffrey Simmons postgame yesterday, he is right, Ramon. The Titans have had like 4 of these empty hand fumbles, and like all of them have not gone their way. We may be talking about the Titans winning the AFC South a couple of years ago if Josh Dobbs in Jacksonville doesn't have a pass that is pushed out of his hand and called a fumble that then the next year when they open the season against the New Orleans Saints is called a fumble. For whatever reason, that play has been the curse for the Titans. It did go their way yesterday. Jeffrey Simmons is the type of player the Titans need more of and not less. And they have already been proven right on him coming back from injury, on the way that guy practices, on the way that guy handles himself in the media, on the way Jeffrey Simmons just is the consummate professional on and off the football field, is the perfect model for what the new, younger Titans need to emulate. You don't get the benefit of that if you trade that guy away. You might get more chances to pick more good players, but who are those players looking up to? Who are those players learning from? Ramon, I think that's important. I think it's critical to have someone who can look them in the eye and say, I decided to do this in the offseason. Here are the results. If you decide to put the work in, here are the results that you can then see. I think that matters for where this team is a lot right now.
It sets the stage for other guys. It sets the stage for even a Cedric Gray. Of course, T'Vondre Sweat, that goes without saying. Jalen Harrell, right? J.C. Latham, even more so. Peter Skoronski going into his contract year. Even guys like Cam, recognizing your deficiencies. One way you stand in this league, man, is minimizing your weaknesses. Knowing what they are, like Jeff said, he'd let go of the rope a little bit during the season. Or the best part that Jeff said to me was conditioning his mind. I'm huge on mental strength. I'm huge on mental toughness. Not so much so that you hide stuff, but just understanding where you are and why you are what you are. And also what people perceive of you, too. Jeff saying that to me is what I think. If you want to play anything that's a Tennessee Titans-oriented message from a player, is that right there that Jayhawk had. I mean, that Jeff just played, or Jeff said that Jayhawk played. Because losing can become a mindset. Bad favor can become a mindset. And a lot of the stuff that people have in these gotta come back moments. I looked at a good bit of the Bills and Patriots game yesterday. Down 21, 24 points going into the half, whatever it was.
21, yeah.
21. And to come back the way they did, it wasn't all, the athleticism of it all. It was being mentally locked in and know that you're going to be able to come back to it. We got a comment, too, I think is super unique from Big, man. He has, to that point about Jeff, though, too, and where this team is and how guys need to elevate themselves. He put, it's wild that he, speaking of Jeff, worked most of his career double team. I couldn't imagine playing sports that way. Yes.
That's true.
That's what Jeff's saying.
That's true.
We look at what Kansas City is with Chris Jones, right? Chris Jones still has edge help. He's got guys at the second level at linebacker in that corner. You look all across the league, these dudes have help. And that's the other part I guess that's super unique about Jeff. Honestly, needs to be a little bit more loud and vocal and demanding of the team and of his teammates, too, because he could easily say, man, this crap is hard. It's Jeffrey Simmons and the Temptations the way it is some days, and that's respect to everybody else. But to that point about him constantly being double teamed, I remember when my guys came down here and played Jeff and the Titans in 2020. And all they kept talking about after the game was Jeffrey Simmons. I'm like, well, where the heck is everybody else at? That's the only worry you have. So to Jeff's point about him finally getting one-on-ones, Of course, this is the type of year he can have. He's salivating at these moments.
To me, it's more than just the on-field production, too. It's exactly what you just heard. It's Jeffrey Simmons understanding, to your point, where he needed to get better and how to do it, and then putting in the work to do it. It's one thing to know what your deficiencies are. It's another thing to address them so emphatically in one offseason and elevate your game to a whole nother level. Of anyone on this team, Jeffrey Simmons was already on the level required for this to be a good defense, and he even still took a next step. He also undid a little bit of bad memory on one of the dark days in Titans history. Ramon, that 2014 J.J. Watt game was the Will Svitek game for the Titans when he had the touchdown catch and the strip sack. December the 3rd, 2014, J.J. Watt had 2 sacks, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, 6 quarterback hits, and a touchdown reception.
Damn.
And he is no longer the most recent player to have a strip sack and a touchdown catch in the same game.
So he pretty much had an MVP campaign for J.J. Watt in that game.
No, literally, I'm reading this article and it says J.J. Watt's MVP candidacy grew stronger in the Houston Texans blowout win over the Tennessee Titans. This was November 30th, 2014, 45-21. The final score in this game. A young Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback for Houston, throwing to Titans legend DeAndre Hopkins, who had 238 receiving yards in this game.
Well, you don't have to live this life, man.
Your boy Arian Foster, 19 carries for 79 yards in that game.
Listen, I can't comment on this type stuff. He finished second in MVP voting that year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who won it? Aaron Rodgers won it.
Classic. Oh, my gosh.
You should leave, Jay.
All right.
You should. Not today, okay?
Coming up.
Not today.
To quote the great philosopher Abba, there was something in the air Saturday night. Fernando. We'll talk about the Heisman coming up next.
Go outside, nerd.
In this market, if you are looking to move, relocate, maybe you have to relocate, you are looking for one thing: peace of mind. I'm going to tell you where you can get it. Bernie Gallerani of Bernie Gallerani Real Estate, who guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Look, I get it. There are a few things in life that are more stressful than moving, so why not control what you can control? Why not get the very best local agent on your team to make sure that you are getting the true value that your home is worth? That's exactly the guarantee you get when you put Bernie Gallerani on your team, and there's no risk to you. He guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, he'll let you out of the contract at any time. Bernie Gallerani is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. If not, he will buy it from you. Some restrictions may apply, but look, this is the only real estate agent in Nashville that's been recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. When Bernie says he guarantees to sell your home, he means it. So call him, 615-428-2644, and that's another sign of how confident he is. That's his personal cell phone. He's giving it out to you right now, 615-428-2644. Call him and see what Bernie Gallerani can do for you, or head online to BernieGallerani.com. That's Bernie Gallerani Real Estate at 615-428-2644. Look, on this show, we acknowledge greatness. We acknowledge when things are just superb, perfect.
Tell it, Will.
Outstanding.
Tell it, Will.
You may think I'm talking about the Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza. I'm not. I'm talking about ABBA.
Come on, man.
I'm just really trying to filibuster for the hook because I just want to hear the hook because it's just a serotonin boost because I love this song.
I've never heard it, so we got to get to the hook.
Come on, Justin. We got to get the hook. We got to get the... This song was just in Stranger Things. It's everywhere on my algorithm right now. And then it's also Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman. We're still waiting. This build-up
Are we close?
Is happening. It's still going. Come on.
Come on.
Here we go. Fernando.
Hey.
Oh, there it is.
Hey.
Come on. Come on. I mean, what are we talking about?
This is a cold-blooded song right here.
Huh. All right, anyway, that's Fernando by ABBA. I'm telling you.
Hey,
anyway.
I can jam to this one. Who is this by ABBA?
That is by ABBA.
Okay.
They're also, I think it's this song. So there are a couple of Stranger Things like songs that have gotten huge over the last few weeks because I knew you'd like it. It's why I wanted to play it also. Stranger Things brings just music from the 80s back, obviously, because it's a time piece or whatever, and it was done back then, and it's bringing back like music to scenes that like are literally they're in like a battle for their lives, and it's like that song in the background, and it's a really cool way to do it. People have been mixing that with like Big X the Plug, Biggest the Largest.
I love that.
Yeah, no, you'd like it a lot. I'll send you some TikToks today. Just be ready.
So it's Fernando by ABBA. Yes.
By ABBA, yes.
Mike was just asking right there in our chat.
Oh, all right.
I'll add that to my playlist. I'm going to be real with you. I like that type of stuff.
I'm glad to hear it. Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman over the weekend. First Indiana player to win the award, the second finalist in program history, joining running back Anthony Thompson, who finished second in 1989 when that song would have been still somewhat new. Despite the fact that Diego Pavia had an SEC-leading 4,018 yards of total offense, 36 combined touchdowns, Heisman voters give the nod to the man who led the nation in passing touchdowns. Fernando Mendoza with 33 and is the Power 4 leader in touchdowns responsible for 39. He's the only FBS quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, since at least 1996, with multiple games of at least 90% completion and 4 touchdown passes versus Power 4 opponents. Ramon, did the Heisman voters get it right with Fernando Mendoza on Saturday?
I say yes. Absolutely. All right. When you look at his overall play, what he did for this university and how they also met some of the same challenges that I would say that Vanderbilt met also, he checked that box. Now, we're talking about being squeaky clean, doing something that somebody's never done before. Of course, Travis Hunter conversation is different last year. Playing offense and defense, man, even on a team that wasn't in the college football playoffs or anything down that line. You know what I'm saying? So it to me signified that it went to the player that elevated his team the most. And one of the most important conversations we've had since the last 5 years, and that's college football playoffs. And specifically the last 2 years with the 12-team setup that they've had, right? Like, they go undefeated, and it ain't a team award, it's a best player award. They went undefeated. He's a quarterback. They went toe-to-toe with the big guys, being Oregon and Ohio State, and he had his moments. His moments were exactly as what you thought they would be, man. When you look at Penn State had him dead to rights, march all the way down the field, and whether it was a heck of a catch by his tight end or a heck of a throw by him, it happened. That was a big moment right there. You go to Oregon, I'm sure as an underdog, and you beat them by 10. Now, earlier in the season, they started 20th and walked themselves down all the way to 1. They're in the Big Ten, and here's the thing about them being in the Big Ten. They beat every team like they were supposed to that were bad. That's the other part of it, too, for me. And then, of course, like I said, and gotta have it moments against the best team that I know the Vols have played in the last few years besides Georgia. He beat them. neutral site, whatever you want to call it, and it was off of his shoulders, off his arm. Like, there is a lot that goes into making that decision. But the issue that I felt like Pavia had, one is a little bit of a reputation. The representation, I think, has kind of showed up that some people, I'll be honest with you, just didn't seem like they like Pavia. And it's because of what he gives off at times, so too.
Agreed.
The other part of it for me was, and I made this statement going into this weekend, everything that Vanderbilt had did as a team, so did Indiana.
And Indiana did it better. Indiana was a better version of Vandy this year. It was the same story. Non-traditional team, not supposed to be good, really good quarterback, solid team around them, led by really good quarterback play. The difference is Indiana won its road games against really difficult opponents, and Vandy didn't. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I mean, to be fair, Vandy's schedule was harder than Indiana's. I mean, if you add Ohio State, maybe to include that. If you make it a 13-game sample size, maybe it wasn't. But to me, there's three reasons, Ramon, why Fernando Mendoza was the right choice. First of all, in Vandy's losses, Diego Pavia was not succeeding in spite of the loss, right? Against Alabama, they lost that game in large part because of his red zone turnovers. Oh. Fernando Mendoza never had a game like that. Against Texas for 2.5 quarters, wasn't good. Turned it on late. You look at the stat sheet, you want to box score scout that game, you'll say, oh, Diego Pavia was awesome. It took a while. Right. It took a while. Now, they had a chance to win that game. They were one, bounce of a ball on an onside kick. They almost recovered from that still being a win and maybe that being his Heisman moment. Right. I'm not saying this is all totally fair or unfair to Pavia. In my opinion, I'm telling you why it happened. The second reason is exactly what you just said. Indiana is the same story. It's hard to tell the Vandy story without saying, well, but if you're going to give all those things to Pavia, you've got to also give credit to Fernando Mendoza. So I think that's the second part. Third part, and this is where I think voters, actually, I'll give you 4 reasons. Third one, Fernando Mendoza played last.
That's true.
Heisman voters remember the last thing they see. Again, I am not telling you whether or not this should or should not be the reasoning why. I think if the Big Ten title game had been played at the same time as Tennessee-Vandy, Ramon, you would have at least seen a closer vote.
Yeah.
Because you would have had the same lasting impression. I think the lasting impression of what Fernando did against Ohio State made a big enough impression, was a big enough deal for a captive audience that was not trying to multitask. Heisman voters, if they wanted to think about their vote, they were watching one football game last Saturday, and that was Indiana versus Ohio State. The last time Diego Pavia played, they had to be watching multiple games.
Yo.
And I think that matters. Fourth thing, and finally, Fernando Mendoza is more likable. He's more likable.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that should matter that much. I think this needs to be a football award based on how you elevated your team. But in my opinion, voters, when they hear Fernando Mendoza open his mouth versus the way that Diego Pavia acted after he lost this award over the weekend, I think a lot of voters, Ramon, are sitting on their couches yesterday morning reading the apology that Diego Pavia put out that we'll read here in a minute to give him the full credit and tell you the full story. But don't you think a lot of Heisman voters are sitting there Saturday night and Sunday morning watching the reaction on social media from Diego Pavia, nodding their heads saying, phew, okay, we got this right.
Yeah.
We got this right. We did the right thing to represent the Heisman Trophy and represent all of that represents.
Yeah. For the representation that it brought, to your point about the likability, I'll add this to it. Vandy needs that type of, I think, attention.
100%.
They need
100%
that type of attention.
Be the villains. 100%.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
But that's not Vandy's. That's not. I say this and there's somebody's name in the chat, but that's not a Vandy man's reputation, though. That's the other part of it for me is not a Vandy man comp that's far from their reputation.
Does not represent higher learning in your Ivy of the South institution.
It was very
as
much,
far as your football program being successful, though, I'm all right with it. Like I don't have any issues with it. Up to flipping off a sign that says "Bleep Indiana" and saying "F all the voters." Like that's where the issue is for Diego Pavia over the weekend.
It was that was a little bit problematic right there. Like, you proved a lot of people that had the stereotype of you wrong, Diego Pavia. I mean, proved them right, Diego Pavia.
You did. 100%.
The whole, pop culture and, young, fly, and flashy stuff that he was about this past weekend was, again, that's him. You'll never ask a player not to be that. But what I will say is it also deserves to be criticized if others are criticized just the same. I'm just going to say it because, heck, we have a show and we have that right. But if this was Shedeur Sanders acting like this or saying F the voters, all of them, like Brent Daughter at this point, Diego Pavia crapped on your vote at this point. Like, anybody that voted for him, is that right there is, if they can take away Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy for, impermissible funds,
which he got back.
Or O.J. Simpson for, of course, what he did too. Then there clearly is a good guy role that you have to play when you represent that trophy. And that was crapped on this past weekend for the guys that supported him. Even the second place votes, like the issue again is in the big gotta have it games, the Bama and also the Texas, he was one of the reasons why they were behind the 8 ball. Now, he did claw them out of it. Specifically, the Texas game got close towards the end. And Alabama, of course, it just blitzed him. He couldn't get much going for him. And undefeated, I do think, goes a long way in these type of situations. And uniqueness of your play. Fernando Mendoza has the same storyline as Diego Pavia does, except there's on one shoulder a good angel, and then there's the bad angel on the other side. Or the devil. I don't think there's bad angels, but that's just kind of the way it is set up, man. And I said this early, and we are local. We're in Nashville. But I hope guys that crapped on players with a whole lot of bravado take that to their 4-letter network and have that big conversation, too, about Pavia. Because, again, if we can get on guys and he's just a thug or he's this or he's that, like, he showed you every bad thing about why people had those stereotypes about him this weekend. And if character matters and, hey, you got to be a stand-up guy and represent the youth and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that support Diego Pavia. We have a fan base right now that's going toe-to-toe with me saying all this stuff about him in our YouTube chat. There's a lot of support. And sometimes you just got to gracefully say, you got it. We're moving on.
Right. Yeah, to your point, why are some people viewed as jerks and pompous and overconfident, braggadocious, like too much?
Right.
And then some are viewed as having swagger and having moxie and having the it factor, right? Like, Diego Pavia has kind of walked on that tightrope in the time he's been at Vanderbilt, and I think it's what Vandy needs as a program. I'm not going to be critical of the way Diego Pavia has handled himself up until, obviously, the after Heisman ceremony stuff we're going to talk about. But to me, it's what Vandy needs to embrace. Embrace the underdog. Embrace having no fear of naming your expectations and then going out and aiming for playoff, championship, Heisman. Everything Diego Pavia said he was going to do this season at Vanderbilt, he did it. Kudos to him for it. Congratulations to him for it. Yeah. He earned every bit of that seat that he was sitting in at the Heisman ceremony over the weekend. To me, though, he proved a lot of his doubters and naysayers right with the way he handled not winning the trophy. I am not sitting here, please hear me when I say this, Vanderbilt fans. I am not sitting here saying that should be the case. I'm actually saying the opposite. The way Diego Pavia acts, the way he does the Heisman pose, the way he does all these things, has no place to me in deciding who should be the Heisman Trophy winner. I think Fernando Mendoza deserved the Heisman because he played better in big games than Diego Pavia, not because Pavia wears a gold chain and a turtleneck and carries himself differently. I am not saying this should be the case. In my opinion, though, it was the case. That I think it is one of the, as I just laid out, 4 reasons why Diego Pavia didn't win the Heisman Trophy. So if you missed it after the Heisman ceremony, Diego Pavia on his Instagram story put a picture of him and his brothers. It was posted from comedian Theo Vaughn, and it said, F all the haters on it. Then there was a video that surfaced after that of him at a bar or club in New York. There was a bottle service sign that was brought over near him that said F Indiana, and he had a middle finger for it and showed that to the sign as he was yelling or smiling at the camera. He released an apology on Twitter. I want to also give him the proper context here that he did apologize for it, saying, being a part of the Heisman ceremony as a finalist was such an honor. As a competitor, just like in everything I do, I wanted to win. To be so close to my dream and come up short was painful. I didn't have those emotions well at all and did not represent myself the way I wanted to. I have much love and respect for the Heisman voters in the selection process, and I apologize for being disrespectful. It was a mistake, and I am sorry. Fernando Mendoza is an elite competitor and a deserving winner of the award. I have nothing but respect for his accomplishments as well as the successes that Jeremiah Love and Julian Sayin had this season. End quote. I will give him credit for taking accountability and taking ownership of it. Unfortunately, that, I think, is the story that now is being told on a national level, Ramon, versus a regional level. I got a text from a buddy over the weekend saying it feels like a lot of the country now understands what SEC fans that aren't Vanderbilt fans don't like about Diego Pavia. That got amplified to a national level over the weekend, and I think it's part of the story you've got to tell on why Fernando Mendoza won the award.
His issue that he'll have to deal with, too, is being really good at the next level if that's what he seeks. Because you can do these types of things and stream like Travis Hunter and Juju and Michael Parsons, and there's a ton of players that have streaming platforms. Omar St. Brown has one. Amara St. Brown.
Half the 49ers and their wives
I mean,
do
yeah.
things commonly on social media.
But what I'm getting at is this. You have to have a level of talent and success. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent, but you have to have a level of success to be able to continue to do those things at the next level, in my personal opinion.
Right.
Moving forward, Diego Pavia has to separate his social media side from his football side. And I felt this past weekend in New York, he blended both of them, whether that was liquor or whatever in his system as he was partying saying F Indiana when they've done nothing to him, or F all the voters when he had a lot of support of all of them. That's where he has to find a line. I saw somebody say, who cares if he's likable? Nobody cares if he's likable or not.
The voters
if he can produce.
That's my point.
Yeah, that's
I
true
think
too.
the voters cared.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of voters on Sunday morning were saying, okay, we voted for the right guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the way the Heisman works and the level of decorum and pomp and circumstance and history and tradition, I'm telling you, it is my opinion that the voters cared. Yeah.
It's fascinating. But moving to the next level, though, separate both or separate the two.
Right.
For sure.
He's been able to back that up at this level. It is going to be harder to carry yourself that way and have the same level of success at the NFL level. Ramon, if he's even a quarterback at the next level. I mean, I don't know if he's a QB in the NFL. Probably to start, but you don't think there's going to be some teams that want to see him at wide receiver?
Running back?
At running back? At a lot of different. And I don't say that to be disrespectful. We did the same thing about Tim Tebow.
We did.
Tim Tebow won the Heisman. He actually got the award. We did the same thing with him. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he's built like an NFL quarterback, and I think teams are going to want to see what else can you do.
Yeah, I agree with you
He'll be at the Senior Bowl, so he'll have the opportunity to do that. I'm not going to be very popular for that, but that's okay. Just my opinion.
He's going to the Senior Bowl?
Yes, he is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he is.
He gonna have more interviews than he do practices.
Arvell Reese going to the Shrine Bowl, Ramon.
We spoke about this.
We spoke about the Shrine Bowl getting a little bit more momentum, and Jim Nagy is at Oklahoma now. He's not at the Senior Bowl anymore.
The profile, I think, is changing.
I think both of those games are going to be really good. Maybe not just one being so much better than the other.
Man, as a Shrine Bowl participant, that makes me proud, man. Let's go.
Big Orange Mac tweets at us, at Ramon and Will. I love when Ramon discovers new music. Good.
I had no idea. I'm serious. Somebody said I'm not listening to ABBA. You know how deep my playlist is of just off the wall.
Listen,
material?
you cannot listen to ABBA. Just, you're going to miss out.
Hey,
it's really good.
I took history of rock and roll at UT. I knew about ABBA. I just didn't know
There
any
you go.
songs. Yeah.
Coming up, 615-737-1045. I'll hear a little bit of Fernando Mendoza's speech because I think the guy is just a prince that needs to be protected at all costs. And I thought there was a really weird reaction, Ramon, from one NFL journalist about what Fernando Mendoza said Saturday night. We'll talk about that next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. I want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center who are going to help you and your family members just clearly communicate during this holiday season. Maybe you're thinking about the big living room setting, the big meals that we've been having, obviously for Thanksgiving coming up around the holidays. And maybe you are thinking about that one family member that just can't hear as well as they used to. Unfortunately, maybe some of your family members have told you that that person is you. If so, I want to tell you that Brentwood Hearing Center has solutions. It not only just solutions, good technology. No, they understand there's no cookie cutter approach to better hearing. They want a specific solution tailored for you. So what Brentwood Hearing Center will do is they'll sit down with you and they'll learn where you're having trouble hearing. Is it at a crowded restaurant? Is it when you are outside and there's a lot of other stuff going on? Maybe it's at work. Maybe you're on Zoom calls and you just can't clearly understand people that are working on a video chat like that. Well, Brentwood Hearing Center has technology that can connect wirelessly to your smartphone, to your television, and they're going to get you off the sidelines and back in the game. So whether it's for you or for that family member, remember this phone number, 615-377-0420, conveniently located right at the Brentwood Old Hickory exit off I-65. They're online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. 615-377-0420. Brentwood Hearing Center, better hearing, better life. Wrapping up hour number 3, Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Hit the podcast feed if you missed any of the first 2 hours and 45 minutes. Glad you decided to wake up with us. Grateful you are a part of our morning, and we can be a part of yours. Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman over the weekend and had a speech that I thought elicited a very interesting reaction, Ramon, on social media. This was Fernando Mendoza in part of his Heisman speech. We don't have time to play all of it. The first minute and change of what I thought was a very likable Heisman speech.
I'm at a loss of words. Wow, I mean, thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody. First, I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to chase a dream that once felt the world away. Standing here tonight, holding this bad boy, representing Indiana University, still doesn't feel real. If you told me as a kid in Miami that I'd be here on stage holding this prestigious trophy, I probably would have laughed, cried like I'm doing now, or both. Because this moment, it's an honor, it's bigger than me. It's a product of a family, team, community, and a whole lot of people who believed in me long before anybody knew my name. To the Heisman Trust, voters, legends standing behind me, and all who cherish this award and what it stands for, it's a privilege to join this fraternity. You have my deepest respect. I promise to carry the Heisman name with humility, gratitude, and with responsibility. Congrats to all my teammates, my brothers. This is our trophy. I love you guys more than you know. To my linemen who protected me, every receiver and tight end that bailed me out and made me look good, to every running back who fought for more yards, and to our defense that gave us that heart, swagger, and more second chances than we definitely deserved. This trophy might have my name on it, but it belongs to all of you. It belongs the first time in Bloomington. Playing in front of Hoosier Nation is one of the greatest privileges of my life, and I'll carry that forever.
That is Fernando Mendoza after the Heisman ceremony. Ramon, I just want to protect this guy at all costs. I really do. He's just so pure.
He is. It's fun listening to him talk because he seems genuinely excited about it. He seems genuinely appreciative of the moment, man. Like some guys just go through life and expect stuff to happen for them, or hey, like, yeah, I'm supposed to do this. And he genuinely sounds like somebody's like, man, I had no idea. And he acknowledged it. He said it too. It's cool seeing a good guy win for once, man, and also got that killer instinct in him on the field too.
So Albert Breer tweeted this after the Heisman. NFL reporter at SI.com. Word for word, Ramon, this was his tweet. Congrats to Fernando Mendoza. His personality is going to be analyzed and dissected plenty between now and April. But to me, he seems like an incredibly likable kid who loves football, his coaches, and his teammates. We can save how he'll fit in with an NFL team for another day. Is that fair?
It's very fair.
Do you agree?
Oh, heck yeah. He's going to be challenged.
Is his personality a difficult one to fit in an NFL locker room?
I don't think it is. If you go in knowing who you are, then nothing else matters. You know what his guy's going to care about? Man, can this joker sling it? That's all that matters. Like, you look at somebody that had a similar personality, I guess, for the most part, Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow can throw, right? He was more of a media darling than he was a football player. Like, Travis Hunter can play. Like, you care about all his dancing? You don't care about that. You care about his ability to make plays. There's been other Fernando Mendozas that have come to the league. Like, you look at what Drake May got going on right now. Drake May is another nice guy. He's sitting at home with his wife and watching her bake cookies right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what he's saying. Like, Fernando Mendoza's too nice for the NFL. I know some nice savages out there, man. Troy Polamalu is a very quiet spoken, nice guy until you meet Troy on the field, or until you met Troy on the field. Like, yeah. I get what they're attempting to say. Like, he's too nice. He needs an edge, and he needs some sandpaper across the face, and, you know what I'm saying, $150 across his face with a slash. Like, that's you want him with some stitches, but it's a matter of, can this joker play ball or not? Period.
Fair. Totally fair. I think
I get what he's saying, though.
I think it's an interesting way to convey a fair argument from Albert Breer. It seems a little harsh to bring that up, like as the guy is
he's saying he's
getting his Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
But I do think it is something that is going to have to be answered, in meetings, because NFL teams do their due diligence on everything. Everything. I mean, this is the same league that gives us hand sizes that we will analyze and react to the second they become available. Like we fiend on these things in the draft process when quarterbacks are so instrumental and influential to your success as a franchise. I don't see it being an issue. I just thought it was interesting that that's the first reaction, really. Is how do we take this pure, innocent sounding, nice guy and turn that into a bad thing? I think it's fair. I just thought the timing of it's come on, Albert. We could wait a little bit, right? We could at least let him get his Heisman before we start dissecting. Is he too nice for the NFL? 615-737-1045. Come on, man.
That was probably his first time hearing him talk like that. That's all it was.
Albert Breer's an Ohio State fan, so he might just be a bitter Ohio State fan. If you follow him on Twitter, the guy, he is a great reporter. I'm not here to throw any shade on Albert Breer. I'm just telling you, the guy's a massive Ohio State fan at the same time.
Just viewed as a nice guy. That's all it is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, coming up. Cam Ward was asked yesterday, are the Titans becoming a run-first team? I'll tell you what he had to say. Hit hour 4, talk some more NFL football coming up next.
9:02, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans fall 37-24 to the 49ers in Santa Clara, but they showed some fight as they dropped to 2-12 on the year. Cam Ward threw for 170 yards, 2 touchdown passes, one to rookie tight end Gunnar Helm on a 34-yard pass, and the other to defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons on a 1-yard scramble drill. Simmons also had a sack yesterday, which brings his season total to 9, which marks a career high. In NFL news, the Chiefs lost to the Chargers yesterday, 16-13, and they'll miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. To make matters worse, quarterback Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and will miss the remainder of the season. The Titans host the Chiefs this Sunday, which will likely see Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Packers star pass rusher Micah Parsons, who left the game early yesterday against the Broncos, is also believed to have torn his ACL. And per Adam Schefter this morning, the belief is that Ravens linebacker Teddy Buchanan, the team's second leading tackler, tore his ACL during Sunday's win over the Cincinnati Bengals. Buchanan will undergo further testing today to confirm that injury. And breaking news per On3's Pete Nakos this morning, as Florida quarterback DJ Lagway is planning to enter the transfer portal. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour of Monday Morning Reaction Monday on Ramon and Will. 49ers 37, Titans 24. More thoughts and takes on that. More headlines around the NFL in 15 minutes where everyone's hurt. Everyone. Cold in Nashville. I just saw a video where it was the feels like temperature this morning in Chicago was -14.
Yeah, serious.
Words of wisdom today. Ramon, words of wisdom every day. These are free of charge. I'll just hand these out to you on the house. It could always be worse.
It could.
Could always be worse.
That's very true. Look at you being more optimistic about the weather, man, because I know you absolutely loathe cold weather.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I was just making sure. You hate it too?
Yeah, the low pressure system is awful. It gives me headaches every time.
You did mention that this morning. Low pressure.
Chief meteorologist Justin Hawkins.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was just thinking. Like,
Man,
low
many
pressure.
talents.
Where do you get that from?
And you're humble.
Say what?
He said, I'm a man of many talents. I said, yeah, and you're humble.
And he's humble about it. Listen.
I'm obviously joking.
No, I'm
obviously
not.
joking.
I try to be. No.
I'm not. He said, okay.
I take my shots when I can.
You do a great job. Cam Ward asked, are you guys shifting to more of a run-first team? Here's Cam Ward's answer.
I think we're shifting towards that. Each and every week we get better at something in the run game, a little thing that's probably the reason why we haven't had, big plays in the last couple of games. But the last 2 weeks been good because, everyone's emphasizing straining the finishing blocks. Then the running backs are seeing it real well. I think Tony and Tajay had a good day on the ground. I think they did a good job at pass protection today. And now we just got to continue to, not let one bad play happen, and really just, try to, have good plays.
Ramon, out of these last 2 games, the Titans have figured out how to run the ball a little bit. 2 straight games for Tony Pollard, going over 100, first time as a Titan. No deal, little deal, or big deal. The Titans' improvement in the run game right now.
Big deal. Being able to be in games and be competitive. We've spoken about this time and time again. Like, you can lose, right, football games, but, like, losing gracefully has its play in this also. It helps you, I'll be honest with you, cope a little bit better mentally by knowing, man, we were in that game. And it's small fixes instead of huge haulovers as far as being able to figure out what's next, what's going to work. Right now with this team, we know this. Offensively, you can run the football. That works. It's easier to game plan if now we can just hone in on the 3 to 5 plays that works for you as an offense as far as running the football. Awesome. The whole little, jet sweep thing, toss it, end it. That don't work. You had that time and time again. I think it was it Chimere DK on a jet sweep that they were trying to give to him in motion? That don't work. Throw that out. We can't work with that one anymore. Running the ball up the middles or throwing tosses with Tony Pollard, that works for you. Now you also have the ability to fake the tosses and have Cam roll out, roll left, roll right, look down the field, buy yourself some time. incrementally getting better is what you're looking for. I think this is a huge deal for ending the season like this. I think it's huge for Cam to get some confidence towards the latter part of this rookie year for him to say, this is where I finished. This is now my platform that I'm jumping off of next year. And we mentioned this too. It was fascinating that, you want to see Cam. The conversation was, how much of Cam do you want to see? We spoke about this in training camp. And I think both of us, to a man, was just like, not a whole lot. He should be relying upon his teammates. If Jackson Slater has the ability to have a red shirt year as an offensive lineman, Cam needs that grace and that time. I felt like there was too much of him, so much of Cam, that you didn't get the opportunity to see the good. I don't know if we saw much good out of Cam. The questions about, can he play? How good can he be? How high is his ceiling? How low is his floor? Because there was, in my personal opinion, too much dependency on his shoulder and his wizardry that I think a lot of this fan base wanted to see, and also what the coaching staff thought he's capable of as an inexperienced NFL rookie. This run game helps him a ton.
I thought two plays ultimately made the biggest difference in this game. One, the miss from Cam Ward to Van Jefferson at the end of the first half, when Van had separation, when Cam had time to throw, just missed him. Can't happen. I thought the other play that ultimately made the difference in this game, leverage penalty once again called on the Titans special team unit and on Jeffrey Simmons for being too violent with the long snapper. Wipes away a missed 50-yard Eddie Pinheiro field goal, allows San Francisco to then keep the ball, make it a 3-score game at that point, it felt like an insurmountable lead.
Can I explain that rule right there for you,
You
too?
may.
That is and has been a rule. It's been more emphasized as of late.
Yes.
This long snapper is protected. You got to think about this. If somebody did that to Morgan Cox, you'd be upset because you only get one. We saw what a backup long snapper looks like against Jacksonville, where you block the punt. Remember? That timing of long snapper, holder, and kicker is elite to teams. And you only get one. And therefore, I feel like coaches, even though they hate when that is being called, they appreciate it being called because it protects the long snappers. And here's the other thing, too. Having been in those special teams meetings, special team coaches emphasize that a lot. Stay off the snapper. Refs also tell you this, too, whenever you're lining up. Move off the snapper. Clear the space because they're giving that grace right there. Mm-hmm. It's a trap. I know you hate the call as fans, but it's necessary for the game flow.
Have you noticed
however,
go ahead.
No, you're good.
Have you noticed that the long snapper, at least yesterday, was kind of chipping and leaning towards Simmons on those plays? Because he does it all game. And then, of course, on that particular play, he shifts just a little bit more and knows that Simmons is going to attack that gap there, and he gets the call.
Jeff can't run down the middle of them like that. And
he's not really grazing his head and neck, which is what the call is supposed to be for. He's kind of getting that shoulder, but they're still calling it anyways.
That's at the discretion of the referees.
Exactly.
But there's also gamesmanship by the long snapper, too. If Jeff is continually attacking that, then you'd be a fool not to use it to your advantage.
For sure.
I will be interested to hear Bones Fossil talk to the media this week. And I know Coach Mack said it on the broadcast, and if you were listening to our call of Titans Radio yesterday, you heard him talking about it. Bones was all over the ref in the next commercial break. All over him.
Yeah.
It, to me, looked like John Bones Fossil, the Titans special teams coach, was about to take the field with the kick team on the ensuing kickoff. He was out there for so long talking with the referee. Obviously, I could not hear what they were saying. The way the speakers are angled at the sideline in San Francisco, the loudest I've heard so far, by the way. Loudest stadium I've been in this year, still Denver. But I almost thought of doing a sideline hit about that at one point yesterday of guys, they've got the speakers turned up to 11. Wow. Like that old bit of well, these go to 11. Like that was how I felt yesterday. And how I'm sure the players felt a little bit in San Francisco, or Santa Clara, I should say. We were not close to San Francisco. But I'm interested to hear the explanation on what the Titans saw and what Bones saw on that. Bones obviously is known, and for good reason, as one of the great special teams coaches in this league. He was irate at that call. Right there, I mean, you're talking about 10 points.
Yeah.
Titans lost this game by 13 on a garbage time field goal. We're talking about the difference of the game, and the Titans on the road against a good team being two big moments away from having a chance. That is not to make excuses. That's not to say that, I'm peeing on your back and it's raining. Like, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
This team is 2-12. I'm not here to tell you things are great. I am here to tell you, though, that the story of yesterday is that you were a pain in a good team's backside. And you were 2 plays away from having maybe more pain, having maybe a pain in their chest and being able to kill them, right?
Yeah.
It's a little morbid for Monday, but I'm just going to keep going.
It is Monday.
But honestly, that can just mean that that's the way it's going to have to be for the next couple of years. Your margin for error to make critical mistakes like that and win is non-existent. Non-existent. That's the story of the Tennessee Titans in 2024, 2025, probably in 2026 with where this team is. You don't have the luxury of making critical mistakes. Right. Some teams do. Until you get a quarterback that is playing at a higher level, then this is just going to kind of be the reality of it. And that's not an indictment on Cam. That's just the fact that you've got a rookie playing quarterback. That's the reality of having a young quarterback that's in his early 20s in the National Football League. Those kinds of plays aren't going to happen and you win a football game. You're not the Chargers, who took, again, like 80 sacks over the last couple of games and are winning games, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I thought that was ultimately the difference, and I thought one of those was more egregious than the other. Cam Ward's got to hit Van Jefferson open down the field, and he's going to be the first one to tell you. And Cam's downfield accuracy, Ramon, remains a major talking point, and I think remains the biggest thing that he is going to have to address and work on and hopefully fix in the 2026 offseason.
Absolutely. I'm with you there.
It's a hard thing to fix.
And here's the other thing, too. This is his first real offseason he's going to go into with a reference as to where he's at. It's awesome having a rookie year where you just jump off the top of the highest platform and just land with no splash. But Cam's had a whole lot of splash this year, and he's got a lot that he can correct. Again, it's a matter of how he attack it, and also how his muscle memory stays with him in those moments too, because you don't want to result in going back to the old him. The same way, and I always references that Tebow always tried to fix himself, but always went back to the same throwing motion and old mechanics, man.
Yep. DJ Lagway has entered the transfer portal. Talk about that when we come back. Does he get a call from Josh Heupel from Tennessee? Are you interested? We'll dive into that. Plus, NFL headlines and reaction to Week 15 so far. Coming up next.
Is your concrete in need of repair? Maybe your sidewalk is shifted on you, your driveway is cracked and sinking, or your porch steps have moved. Shifting concrete can create a dangerous situation, just trip hazard around your home. It's also a big eyesore. Shimon Foster, whatever's going on with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that's provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, they can also fix your sunken and settling concrete. USS uses polyurethane foam injections to lift and repair your sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after about 30 minutes. So don't go through that long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company I trust, man. You can go to their website at ussTN.com. That's ussTN.com, or call them 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, Hour 4 on this Reaction Monday. 49ers beating the Titans yesterday, sending them to 2-12. But a lot more was happening around the league. We're going to get to in a matter of seconds. Ramon, DJ Lagway is in the portal. Ooh. Well, going to be in the portal when it opens. It's not open yet. We just put a poll out at Ramon and Will, where you should be following the show anyway, by the way. We invite you to stream us there. Follow us there, yell at us there, tell us how great we are there at Ramon and Will. Should Tennessee pursue DJ Lagway in the transfer portal? So far, 57% of you say no. Ramon Foster, what do you say?
I say no also.
I think they should.
You think they should?
I think you're not doing your job if you don't call the best quarterback in the portal and see what the price is. I think it's going to be too much. I don't think Tennessee should be involved in a bidding war for DJ Lagway because I'd rather spend that money on defense for Jim Knowles to put together what he wants to put together. But I think if you're talking about just a blanket yes or no, yeah, you've got to somewhat pursue him and see if the guy's interested in being a part of your system for cheaper than what he would need to take elsewhere, right?
DJ Lagway, to me, has had some of the same issues that we criticize young quarterbacks having, too, though.
That's true.
That's
true.
The one where I sit on this topic is we saw what talent was, right? What we thought Nico was going to provide. And I feel like Nico and DJ Lagway had some of the same issues. Misfires, inconsistent with the football in their hand, not knowing when to run. Heck, one of DJ Lagway's biggest attributes was his legs, and he never even used them really this year the way he should have. So I feel like you're finding yourself in that same box with him with what he's shown us so far. To your point, do I think he's a weapon? Heck yes, 100%. And a conversation should be had. But what I've realized that offense needs, and the four quarterbacks that we've seen come through Josh Heupel's system, from Joe Milton, Hendon, let me make sure, Nico, and then Joey, is a passer. Hendon Hooker and Joey Aguilar are passers. Can you throw the football? If you can mix both of them with the athleticism and decision-making, then, yeah, that guy could be elite for that offense, almost for anybody's offense for that matter. But with what I've seen from DJ Lagway, either it was because Napier's inconsistencies or whatever the case may have been, is problematic for hoping that he'd work in the Vols offense. I'm not going to just jump out there and just let's go out on the branch for George McIntyre. But from what I've seen from him, he's a thrower. And at the end of the day, you know what I've always said as of late, when somebody said it to me, like we're all into the measurables of how fast the guy is, how athletic he is. Like, who's playing quarterback? Like that's what I feel like any franchise or any school wants from their guys. Who plays quarterback well for you in your system? Fernando Mendoza has proven that. Diego Pavia has proven that right now. Marcel Reed has shown that also. Who plays quarterback the best? That's what I'm looking at moving forward.
In the Infinite Bank chat, Emmett says, what about McIntyre? And he means Marklinger. He wrote Mecklenburg. Marklinger, wouldn't that be a slap in the face to them? First of all, I don't think you can do anything based off of Jake Marklinger. I mean, from what Jake Marklinger has shown us, Ramon, and from the, I think, losing of the quarterback battle this time around, he's probably going to transfer.
Yeah, somebody going to sign him.
I don't have any insider knowledge on that. I'm not speaking from a place of like knowing something y'all don't. I'm just saying, connecting the dots. I don't think Jake Marklinger is going to be around in 2026. As far as George McIntyre is concerned, you're going to need a quarterback.
You are.
In 2026. If that quarterback hypothetically was DJ Lagway for a big NIL deal, if he plays well and Josh Heupel gets the most out of him, he's there for one season and gone to the NFL.
DJ, that is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That is not going to be, in my opinion, something that would be a total I'm out kind of thing for George McIntyre. In my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I think George McIntyre went to Tennessee with the purpose of being developed, waiting his turn, and getting his opportunity. Because remember, I mean, he committed there with Nico Imaliava still there. George McIntyre did not go to Tennessee to immediately play. So that's my understanding of that situation. We're dealing in really big hypotheticals of something, Ramon, that I would be shocked if it happened. I would be shocked if Tennessee really did sign DJ Lagway. That being said, I don't think you can be afraid of your 2027 quarterback situation and the way your younger guys may handle a guy coming in just out of kindness and patience to them. Right. You have major pressure on you if you're Josh Heupel going into 2026. You're worried about 2026 and 2026 only. Maybe Josh Heupel believes that George McIntyre gives his team the best chance to win football games in 26 because the money it would take to go get Lagway could be better spent elsewhere. That's probably the case. But at the same time, I don't think you're doing your job if you don't give him a call. That's all I'm saying. I don't think the phone call is going to result in much. Here's what the phone call should sound like. Hey, DJ, you see the numbers that a bunch of guys put up in this system? Are you willing to take one less M in that check to come be a part of it? Let us know here at the Vol Club. Thanks. Call us back. Appreciate it. That's what the call sounds like. And if the answer is no, which it's probably going to be, you move on. And no one knows what Tennessee's plan is at quarterback. They might not even know, Ramon. It might depend on who else enters the portal to say, hey, we really like this Rocco Beck kid. We really like this Sam Levitt kid. But if we can't get those, let's just go find a backup. Let's go get the version of Trinidad Chambliss, which ended up being something great. But again, like Trinidad Chambliss is why you have to go get a transfer portal quarterback.
But he also came from a small school.
He did come from a small school, but that's to say, like, you've got to get somebody.
Okay. You
got to get somebody because Austin Simmons went down, and Ole Miss is a team with a playoff roster and playoff expectations, and they had enough of a insurance policy at quarterback to still get them to the line. Now, that's an extreme example because Chambliss turned out to be a fringe Heisman candidate with how well that he played after Austin Simmons got hurt. You're probably not going to find one of those. But again, you can't worry about the guys already in the room. You've got to do what's best for your entire football team, and that will require Tennessee to sign a transfer portal quarterback. Full stop.
For sure. I agree with you there. My question is, why is DJ Lagway in the portal? He and John Summerall have been in Florida now for 2 weeks together. At least in some capacity, have sat down and had a conversation about their plans for him, the school, the team in general. And he's still choosing to hop in the portal right now. I'm wondering, what is it about either the offense, the player, or is this his opportunity to go somewhere else and get good money? And it may be the latter I just mentioned. But here's the thing about it, though, too, for me, and kicking the tires on DJ Lagway, because at this point, like, his career has been fair. He had, lose the season this year. The same issues that he had are the same ones that you also had with Nico. He's 16 touchdowns with 14 interceptions.
The difference is, though, that he's not a redshirt freshman going into this next season.
He's a junior. Yes.
He's a junior.
You should expect the jump. But, heck, we thought the same thing from the lower Sellers at this point, too. And he turned into exactly what it was the year before also.
I don't know if Sellers is the best example, honestly.
You don't think so?
I think Sellers has a crappy line. I think Sellers has nobody that can catch the football. I think Sellers with those guys at Florida, and I said it all offseason, I didn't understand the Lagway hype, but I understood Sellers a little bit more. Sellers didn't have a great year this year. I understand that, but I still believe more in Sellers right now.
Right.
I believe in Lagway more maybe as a bigger prospect down the road, but I think Lenoris just needed more help. Yeah. I think Lagway didn't help himself.
The other issue, too, for, having this conversation about getting a ready-made guy to us, Heupel and his staff and the Vol Club are recruiting too high at the quarterback position as far as rating goes to play that game of bringing in a one-year mercenary often. Moving forward, you got George, Faison Brandon, who, by the way, has won his second straight North Carolina State title in Class 7A. His overall record, by the way, as a starting quarterback is 35-1 with 112 total touchdowns. By the way,
pretty dang good.
He killed it too. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Class 7A too. Throw that out there.
Yeah, I just think that you're going to have to get somebody, and you're going to probably give him a call. He's probably going to tell you my price is too much. And I think, Ramon, there are 3 schools to watch for DJ Lagway. 3 schools to watch. If you give me these 3 versus everyone else in the country, in terms of where he's going to end up, I'll take these 3. Ready?
Yeah.
Miami.
Yes.
Transfer portal quarterback university. Miami is number 1. Number 2, LSU. Lane Kiffin.
Oh, my God.
DJ Lagway, Lane Kiffin together. You kidding? That's number 2. Number 3, and I cannot believe I'm about to say this, is Indiana. I think Indiana is going to be a really popular transfer portal quarterback landing spot. How could it not be?
That's so true.
Kurt Signetti just took the kid from Cal and made him a Heisman winner. Like, respectfully, to Fernando Mendoza. Like, this is who Indiana is now. They're the type of program that can offer you a pathway from wherever you just were to national championship contention and a Heisman Trophy. And, I mean, that's the reality of football in 2025.
Why would you not?
100%.
Gosh.
100%. So anyway, I think it's those three teams or the field. Penn State, I think, is going to be another one.
They're going to have to overpay, too.
Listen, when you see someone hit the portal, just expect in Pete Nakos' corresponding article, Penn State is expected to be in the mix because they signed 2 players in their high school class a couple weeks ago. Like, I mean, they have to. Hey, you got a lot of jerseys and a lot of numbers that need to be handed out to players that are on scholarship to play American tackle rules football. And unless you sign them all in the portal, you're not going to have enough players to fill all the jerseys. You know, have a lot of empty spots in that locker room if you don't go get busy.
You know who's already tweeted about DJ Lagway in the portal?
Who's that?
You know him. He just left Mississippi. Lane.
Of course he has.
He's retweeted it already.
Gator Mike tweets at us and says, "Don't count out Baylor either. His dad played at Baylor."
No,
I don't know if Baylor's got DJ Lagway money.
Yeah, I think they do, but I don't know if Baylor's gonna overspend to get themselves together.
No, as talented as, I mean, never say never. Maybe Mike's right, but as talented as DJ is, he's gonna have somebody offering him $6 or $7 million to go play quarterback, and it's probably gonna be Miami because that's what they do.
Miami,
Cam
Indiana.
Ward, Carson Beck, DJ Lagway.
Doesn't LSU already have a 5-star on the roster too? It don't matter at this point.
Yeah, who cares?
Lane got to go win right now.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Everybody does. At this point, like, unless you're ready for that 5-star to play, this is college football. This is college sports. I don't love it, but we don't have the patience to wait around and let the 5-star just sit there and then get his opportunity anymore.
What's crazy though too is I'm sure DJ Lagway had a nice package of money and everything that was involved in his services to Florida, and just poof, you break the contract and you're gone. Like, I was having a light conversation with somebody over the weekend, and your ability to just up and go, like, I don't think players should be held to just one deal, especially when coaches can move the way they do in college. But a CBA needs to be established at some point. It's too big.
Correct.
It's too many teams, I think. I don't know how they're going to divide it, who's going to represent them.
Yes.
I know Josh Pate's supposed to be the new college director, but
college commissioner,
college commissioner. But at some point, there has to be guidelines in which everybody files their contracts into one system, and there are rules behind it too.
Because then you can make rules that the players have collectively bargained and agreed with.
Yes.
That then you can actually enforce. And then you have a movement period. Then you have a salary cap. Then you have all of these things. You got to make players employees probably in the process as well. But that to me is a bigger hoop to jump through than all of the other ones right now that are just the wild, wild west. I completely agree with you. And it's why Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White has publicly endorsed collective bargaining in college athletics. Yeah.
Have to.
All right, let's talk about what else happened in the league this weekend. 44-year-old Phillip Rivers didn't suck. He didn't suck.
He did not.
He wasn't great.
Had a similar day to Cam.
But he didn't suck. 18-16, the Seahawks beat the Colts for the second straight week. Seattle went into halftime with 6 points. The week before, against Atlanta, they scored 31 in the second half. In this one, they only scored 12 more against the Colts. Shout out to the Colts defense, playing without Sauce Gardner right now. Better. Sam Darnold just wasn't really, it didn't really click. 22 of 36, 271, 84.4 passer rating, 6 field goals from Jason Myers, doing his best Titans legend Rob Baronis impression, who of course had 8 famously against the Houston Texans to win a football game for the Titans in one game. Phillip Rivers threw his first regular season touchdown pass in 1,806 days. But on passes of 10-plus yards, Ramon, he was 2 for 8. How did Phillip Rivers live up or exceed to the expectations you had for him?
Man, he's living life in a bonus. He made it out. He looked competent, of course, because, heck, he's a friggin' quarterback that's played at a high level all his life. I thought it was unique with how they presented him to the Seattle Seahawks defense too, because they almost had to play cautious because you didn't know what he was capable of, what the offense would look like. And then he also has a legitimate threat of throwing the football around. That offense with Shane Steichen is legit in itself. So, of course, the game 18-16, how it unfolded, but Phillip Rivers did exactly what you needed a quarterback like him to do in those situations, or a young guy. He was a game manager, and he did as much as he possibly could to not mess it up until the end, where his shoulders and strength just wasn't there to get the football to Michael Pittman at the end. I thought it was fair. I thought it was good for a guy that's 44 years old. But, of course, I thought it was going to be worse. I did. I thought that defense was going to get all over him. I think they only gave up 2 sacks on the day, or 1 or 2 sacks on the day. They blocked like they had a AARP quarterback back there.
I think considering the defense they were playing against, better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Bills 35, Patriots 31. How about this comeback? 21-0 midway through the second, and then Josh Allen just woke up and turned into a demon. I mean that in a good way, of course. 19-28 passing, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 carries for 48. At halftime, Ramon, Buffalo had 76 total yards and 5 first downs. Buffalo finished with 349 yards and 22 first downs. Really, outside of a 65-yard Travion Henderson second-half touchdown run, Ramon, this would have been a more lopsided win for Buffalo, who just totally dominated the second half. Drake May might have lost the MVP yesterday. You agree?
I think Drake May's defense almost lost it.
Okay.
Because, again, you had James Cook just absolutely just mush and mush and mush. I thought Drake May played fine. I thought he did everything you needed him to do as far as his ability to keep his team in it. That defense, to me, just slowly let go of the rope and just allowed James Cook to just eat them apart, man. It was fascinating watching that game kind of unfold. Travion Henderson was great for the Patriots, but it was, to me, the questions I had going into this weekend. How much can I trust Drake May in those positions, even though he wasn't that great, but even still, when you looked at how it unfolded, Josh Allen, who early on in the game I was just like, I don't know what he is. Also, it was veteran versus the young bull. Will,
it was. I mean, and Drake May had 47 passing yards in the second half.
Tough.
47. He had 108 in the first half. He had 47 passing yards in the second half. If you're going to win MVP, I get that this loss is not all on him. I'm not saying the loss is all on him. If you're going to win MVP, there is a very high standard you have to play to in games like this. Mm-hmm. You can't have 47 yards in the second half against your division rival in a standalone marquee game and expect to win that award when Matthew Stafford is doing what he is doing over on the opposite coast against the Detroit Lions yesterday.
He cooked.
Patriots had a 124-1 record when leading by 21-plus points at any point in a home game in team history. Their 104-game win streak ended yesterday when at home leading by 21-plus points. Tough. A lot of good football on yesterday.
It was phenomenal, man. That Patriots Bills game though was top of the top. It really was.
Coming up, is the Chiefs dynasty officially over? Are we giving a eulogy to Kansas City's reign of terror over the NFL, the team that is headed to Nashville this upcoming weekend? We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foss for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man, it's that time of the year where the HVAC systems might start to mess up on you, or you got a plumbing issue because of holidays and just a lot of people around your house, man. Well, Hiller's the company that you need to call over, man. They're the best in business when it comes to work around your house. Their techs are very professional, experienced, and very trustworthy. And they're all background and drug screened, too. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting time. They're 100% satisfaction guarantee on everything that they do. Their motto is, and they live by it, happy you'll be or the service is free. That's just something that they do. Either they'll fix it for you or simply just give you your money back, man. If you want to learn more about Hiller or book with them the same way that I do, you can go to their website at happyhiller.com.
Wrapping up the show on this Monday morning. Full reaction, of course, all day on 104.5 The Zone, all the way through 3HL at 6 p.m. Monday Night Titans, of course, via Titans Radio after that. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. It brings me great joy, Ramon, to ask you the following question. Is the Chiefs' dynasty over?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, next question. Let's see. What else do we know? For the first time since 2014, the Kansas City Chiefs will not be in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, I personally look at this situation like they're meeting age and replacement of key players at the wrong time. Like, who's Chris Jones' replacement, or who's their defensive representation of him moving forward? He's been a huge part of that dynasty, right? You say that part. You look at Patrick Mahomes and how teams within their division, I ain't going to say have figured Patrick Mahomes out, but they are challenging his style of play directly. Like I brought up, the way Denver plays them now and the rushers and secondary that they've gone after to combat directly him. The Chargers are in the same sense with a running game, keeping the football away from them, and the style of play and the defenders that they have too. The Raiders tried to do it with Ashton Genty, which everybody's calling one of the worst picks now, the way the Raiders have gone about that. I ain't going to say the worst picks, but they're questioning what he is to them. And then just the rest of the league has caught up. Tom Brady went through this. I think it was which one was it? Devin or Jason McCourty on the Sunday Night Football broadcast said that, in his opinion, the Patrick Mahomes rebuild will be done with guys who are high school seniors right now. Like, wow. I kind of side with that. Each great has kind of gone through that. Peyton has, Tom Brady. There's a lot of those guys that have to reinvent themselves, which is why it's so commendable. Again, I bring up what Sean McVay's done with the Rams so far. Like, he's done it within 3-4 years of having Matthew Stafford.
I think the problem for Kansas City is the margin for error you have at the NFL draft when you are constantly picking at the back of every round gets thinner and thinner. Your ability to then pay to keep a lot of your draft picks that you like, and the, let's face it, L'Jarius Sneeds of the world. That one maybe didn't work out too badly for them, but that's the reality of the situation you're in when you pay to keep so many good players on your team playing football for you. You've got to continue to hit on day 2 and 3 draft picks that they have stopped hitting on at the same rate they were before. That, I think, is the issue for them right now. You look at this 2025 draft class, Josh Simmons, the tackle from Ohio State who came in injured, it's been fine when he's been healthy. He just hasn't totally been healthy. Omar Norman-Lott, unlucky, injury, out. Ashton Gillott, defensive end, 14 games played this season, 1.5 sack, their third-round pick. Noel Williams is a corner who I think has been fine. I mean, Jalen Royals, their 4th-round pick, has played 4 games. You look at last year's draft class, I mean, beyond Xavier Worthy, who's been good, Kingsley Suamataia, your 2nd-round pick, iffy at tackle. Jared Wiley, tight end, who's played 9 games in 2 seasons, has 2 catches for 11 yards. Like, Kansas City just can't afford to get 2 catches for 11 yards out of their 3rd selection of the 2024 NFL draft in order to have the kind of depth that they need to continue to sustain their success. Like, Jaden Hicks is a defensive back who's got 3 picks in 2 seasons. Okay, a good 4th-round pick. But to me, you start going down, like, they're finding less Jalen Watsons and Creed Humphreys and Trey Smiths and Noah Grays. And now, unfortunately, they're finding more Felix Anadike Uzomas, who was their 2023 first-round pick who has 3 sacks in now his 3rd season in the NFL.
Wow.
Like, you just can't afford to miss like that when you are constantly already picking at the back of every round and already are behind the 8 ball and finding good football players.
I was going to say, now, it also depends on how aggressive they want to be to keep this sustainable, because the ACL isn't a season injury thing. They can hit free agency like, does George Pickens become a Kansas City Chief? Right? You look at that. Yeah, I'm not sure what D tackles are going to come up as far as either trades or in free agency this upcoming season, but it does. Patrick Mahomes always is going to be a draw for anybody that want to have a great quarterback. The last part to me is I look at it in his situation is how much more can you get out of Andy Reid? How much longer? Is it the next 10 with Patrick Mahomes also? Is there going to be a change there? Does he go into his 70s, late 70s, coaching football also too? Like, is that side of it me, the structure of the entire team?
That's a good point.
So all of that plays a part in it for me. I'm not gonna have ageism and stuff like that with Andy Reid, but
right.
That's some of the things you got to worry about because Kansas City is an outdoors team that play in cold weather a good bit of the later half of the season.
Sure. To me, it's even less about like the Chiefs started having bad draft classes than it is. It was always going to be hard for the Chiefs to sustain how good so many of their draft classes were. Like that to me is the story about Kansas City defensively. When you look at some of the guys that have been mainstays in that defense and like finding Nick Bolton in the second round, right. Finding L'Jarius Sneed in the fourth round, finding, their whole defense, Ramon, has been drafted on days 2 and 3 of the NFL draft, with the exception of really George Karlaftis, who was a back of the first round pick, and Chris Jones, who's been there for a long time. Like, that's a hard thing to do, to continue drafting the way that they have. And then, oh, by the way, you got to get rid of Tyreek Hill because he wants more money, and you've got to replace him. And they tried to do it with Sky Moore. Sky Moore didn't work out. Sky Moore was returning punts yesterday for the San Francisco 49ers. It is really hard to sustain success in this league when the book is kind of out on your quarterback and teams start to learn how to slow him down.
No doubt about it.
Back at it tomorrow morning. We'll have a lot more college football discussion tomorrow. Playoff talk, Ramon, tomorrow morning on the show. Austin Price, of course, at 8:20, and lots more of your thoughts. If you weren't able to get in on the phones today, we always appreciate you making us a part of your mornings, and we will talk to you bright and early tomorrow at 6.
Somebody said, don't bring up that man. Sneed, that is, Will. But either way, you got a mic and I do too, and we must remember at all times our Twitter fingers and our mics are always hot.